And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. Thank y'all for joining me tonight. We got a whole lot going on all over the internets, all over mainstream media, social media, everywhere, and I don't know where to start. First of all, we got the hospital bomb that happened in Gaza. We're going to get into that. We got a lot of information to cover on that particular story, and we're going to really go there. Also, Jim Jordan is trying to become the next Speaker of the House, but he appears to be very far away. I don't know what's going on. I don't know who wants what or what the internal beef is. We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, the drunk commissioner out there in Clayton County, Georgia, in the Atlanta, Georgia area. That was a crazy story. We're going to talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, the United States and Qatar have agreed to block the money promised to Iran after the whole hostage kerfuffle. We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, Rite Aid, a staple of many of our childhood, many of our youth, right around my age, is going bankrupt. CVS, Walgreens, etc. might be next. We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, Janet Yellen, our U.S. Treasury Secretary, says that we can afford wars in Ukraine and Israel as we send Gaza $100 million, $100 million. And as we send Ukraine and Israel a joint care package of $100 billion. We'll talk about all these things and more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And thank y'all again for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these internets. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all of that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. We got a whole lot going on. There's a lot happening. Shout out to you guys for being here. I really appreciate y'all. This is also a podcast you are listening to right now. If you want to hear this on your favorite audio streaming platforms, whether they be Google, Spotify, Apple, iTunes, etc., link for that will be in the description, or just go to your favorite audio streaming platform and search ABL Live. I should pop right on up. Now, we got a lot to get into. There's quite a few videos. There's quite a few news stories, articles, updates, everything. But first things first, y'all know how I do at the beginning of every single show. Shout out to the sponsors. Shout out to patriotpost.us, your best source of news and information anywhere on these internets. Link for them will be in the description, or just go to patriotpost.us in your browser, type it on in, and tell them that ABL sent you. Also, go to ablmerch.com. We got hats, t-shirts, stickers, hoodies, mugs, and more right there on the website. Again, ablmerch.com. Check it out. Links in the box. Just go to it in your browser and get you a few things there. Also, go to my regular website, anthonyblogan.com. That is ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. Go to the front page of the website. I have articles for each video that I produce. And in each article, you're able to find sources, full videos, whatever you need, a little bit more of a summary, a little bit more of an in-depth written analysis about what's happening right there on the website, anthonyblogan.com. Also, go to the contact page, anthonyblogan.com/contact, to find my email address, my snail mail address, my social media accounts, Facebook, Twitter, now known as X, Instagram. All that good stuff is right there on the contact page. Again, anthonyblogan.com/contact. Shout out to Pseudo Spike, who says ABL tried to scam me today, because y'all know where I'm going. A quick pointer. Whenever I post a video on YouTube or anywhere, but definitely YouTube, and you make comment on the video, if someone replies to your comment that looks like me, they have my picture, they have a name similar to mine, and they say, hey, contact me to invest in cryptocurrency, to invest in Bitcoin, Forex, some other kind of random get rich quick scheme, just to be frank, it's not me. Okay, it's not me. If you speak to that person, you will be talking to a guy that is in Lagos, Nigeria, 100%. Or maybe some guy in some old former Soviet republic. That will be who you speak to. You're not going to speak to me at all. So if the email says something like, I'm a Nigerian scammer at hotmail.com, I live in Moldova, I live in Ukraine, Transnistria, I live in Moscow, and I weigh 1 million pounds. Listen, don't do it. Don't give out your credit card information. Don't buy no Apple iTunes gift cards. Don't do it. Don't get scammed. It's 2023, and nobody ain't got no time for that, all right? So that's what's happening right now. Don't get scammed. Go to the website. If you're ever wondering if you're conversing with me or not, just go to my contact page. If the method of communication is not listed there, it's probably not me, okay? My email address is contact@anthonyblogan.com. My email address is not Adewale Balogun at nigeriasemail.com. I promise it's not me. So don't get scammed. Don't nobody got no time for that. Now, we're going to get into quite a few things here. There's a lot happening, a lot of videos, a lot of things are going on. There is a whole lot happening. And shout out to you guys for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere in these interwebs. And I cannot do the show without you. Okay, so we got pictures, we got videos, we got a little bit of everything. And we will get into it. So y'all please hang tight. All right. We got some economy issues. That's going to be a good one. We have a lot. So y'all hang tight. All right. Alabala Balogun. Yeah. Adewale Balogun. That's not me. I promise that's not me. All right. The guy may have my picture, but I promise it is not me. All right. So we got a few good stories here, actually. A few good things and a few other crazy things. I got a video from back in Virginia. This is kind of a crazy story that I'm going to go ahead and throw on the screen right quick. So y'all hang tight. Let me see if I can get the video here. All right. So apparently there was a choking incident. Somebody got choked out in Virginia. So what happened? A man choked a county attorney in Gloucester County. This is in Hampton Roads area. It's in the northern part. Like if you go in, I guess you would say probably toward Richmond. If you go straight up rather than going that way, you go the other way. It's like right past Williamsburg. Let me put it on the screen for you guys. All right. We've seen a few crazy town halls because of the migrant crisis and whatnot. And we've seen things get out of control. Hold on. Now I got to fix this thing here. Y'all give me a second. I got to fix this. There we go. Okay. Let's get this together because this should not be what's happening. All right. There we go. Perfect. Now let's check it out right now. All right. Let's get a little bit of sound and let's keep on rocking.
In Gloucester that turned ugly.
People had their phones out with cameras rolling when it happened. This happened earlier this month during a discussion about a bond referendum.
Hey, yo, if you see that in your town hall, man, hey, it's turned up to the max. You getting a lawyer? Listen, I think he's choking the lawyer. Now, a little bit of legal advice. I'm not a lawyer myself. I'm no legal expert, but a little bit of legal advice. If you want to choke somebody, I suggest you don't choke a lawyer. That might not be a good idea. You're going to the penitentiary.
You can see two men get into the scuffle with one of them wrapping their hands around the other person's throat.
That was funny. Somebody said Richmond or Richmond. Almost. We're pretty much right there.
Nobody was hurt, but some serious charges followed. Only on 10, Amy Avery walks us through the chain of events.
County leaders say this was something that was so unexpected. They say sometimes meetings get a little heated, but not like this.
Which town hall meeting was for all the citizens that wanted to come out. voice their opinions, and that's just not what happened. It just escalated.
Whoa. Paul. The KFC man. Like, what is going on here? Jim Bob then just went and got unhinged.
Let go of me.
This video obtained by 10 on Your Side shows Gloucester County citizen Lawrence Cohen choking the county attorney. Gloucester County deputies were called out to the town hall meeting at Page Middle School on October 4th, just before 9 p.m. Deputies say following the investigation, Cohen was charged with assault and battery.
I'm trying to get a question
Mr.
out.
Cohen, you need to stop bullying the staff.
I mean, that was completely unexpected. We had citizens were there talking and asked questions, and it just escalated out of control.
County Administrator Carol Steele says these meetings are for citizens to be able to ask questions about the projects, where their tax dollars are going.
Hey, man, sometimes things get a little bit heated. Sometimes you got to just go ahead and choke a lawyer out. But again, I do not recommend that because that's an easy way to get yourself locked up. Choking a lawyer, if you're going to choke somebody, which I don't recommend, I don't advocate for no violence. Maybe don't choke a guy that will get you locked up and can go to court and be his own lawyer. All right. He can represent himself and get you
and get the
thrown
correct
away.
information out there.
All right. But that's that. That was out there in Gloucester County, Virginia. That's not too far from my neck of the woods in the 7th City, Hampton Roads area. Yeah. CNN allegedly he choked him. You even heard it right there. Put his hands on his neck. That was a pretty good choke. And that old man's strength, man, listen. One thing you don't want to do is get choked out by some old man and be struggling to get out of it. Okay, you're 25 years old and a 65-year-old senior citizen is choking you to death. You don't want that to be happening to you. That is not what you want. Oh, and you know what? I got a little bit of cringe for you guys. Are you ready? Are you ready for some cringe? Now, this is kind of adult, but it's censored. Okay, it's kind of censored, but it's kind of adult. All right. So we know about Patrisse Cullors, right? Black Lives Matter, black lesbian Marxists, big long money, big large mansions. All right. Now, we have not seen Ms. Cullors in a while. So you may be asking, hey, what has she been up to ever since all that money? And you know, what's her hobbies? What does she have going on? Well, you may have seen me do videos about her, and I hinted towards some of her high art pastime. Now, here we are yet again. You ready? Now, again, it's a teeny bit adult. You're going to see like some PG-13 type stuff going on, okay? Just to get you ready. So here we are. So that is her right there. You see her with the gold. That's her. All righty. Yeah, that's what she's doing. And we have more here. All right. So stunning and brave, right? Stunning and brave. I mean, imagine walking into an exhibit and you see that right there going on. I mean, just marvelous, stupendous. Put her on the cover of Vogue magazine, right? Have her be the face of beauty. And then now, if I'm walking into the Atlanta Botanical Garden and I see that right there happening, I'm calling the feds. Like, do we have one of these crackheads from downtown who just made their way into the Botanical Garden? You in here with your clothes off and you got body paint on, looking like CeeLo Green. I'm not really a fan. But hey, when you got millions of dollars and you got just time and you want to get more money by putting your body on exhibit for a bunch of these random liberals, then it's all good, right? It's all good. All right. Somebody said, scare me gay. Hilarious. And there we have it. So I know a lot of you guys are going to be definitely thirsty over that one right there. If you were eating right now, I'm sorry. I apologize. But I saw it and you had to see it. So there we have it. Again, in case you were wondering, you're like, hey, ABL, who's this lady? This is Patrisse Cullors of Black Lives Matter, one of the founders of Black Lives Matter. You know, the organization that went and destroyed a lot of black neighborhoods and had a lot of black youth killed because of all the violent actions that they were inciting. That group, yeah, them. That group that spent millions upon millions on real estate all over the country, all over the world, trying to buy real estate in the Bahamas and whatnot. Yeah, that's her right there. Okay, so if you ever gave like you might have been in the past, you might not have been really awake quite yet. If you ever gave to Black Lives Matter, you contributed to this work of art you see before you, okay? You contributed to this work of art you see right here. Black lesbian Marxists, you gave to that right there. So again, if you go to a botanical garden somewhere in the country and you see some random lady just, wilding around, letting it all hang out, hey man, Black Lives Matter started the trend. But anyway, I digress. If you like what you're hearing, not necessarily seeing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all of that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Now, there is a list of the most attractive women in the world. Now, I know that sometimes beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but I think maybe, just maybe, sometimes that's not always it. Like sometimes it's like, okay, like what are we talking about exactly? I have a picture for you guys. This particular individual right here, out of the billions of women in the world, this person has been named one of the top 100 most attractive women. All right, you guys ready? There we go. Now, what in the Dolph Lundgren? What in the if he dies, he dies? What in the square jaw B-movie villain is going on here? That person right there, I don't know what they identify as, so don't get me to asking. Hey, ABL, what's this person's pronouns? Yippee-ki-yay, Die Hard 4. I don't know. That person right there has been named one of Maxim's most beautiful women. I lie to you not. Lie to you not. So that's the world we live in right now. Now, again, I know that beauty's in the eye of the beholder, but that right there, that ain't it. Okay, that ain't it. I've seen some of these Atlanta Transformers who will put this particular character to shame. I seen some stuff. Okay, this person right here, I tell you, if you were to put this person in Expendables as the main villain, it's believable. Okay, it is believable. You killed my son. I'm coming for revenge. Duke Nukem face. Anyway, I digress. Somebody said she all right. Hey, man, if that floats your boat, then go for it, boss. But I can't do nothing with it. I can't do nothing but engage in a lengthy gun battle in an hour-and-a-half movie with that particular person right there. But anyway, so I think that's Maxim, Australia. Yeah, Maxim, Australia put a list of the top 100 beautiful women in the world. All right. And that person was one of them. All right. Now, hold on. Is there an actual list here? Yeah. So Margot Robbie's at the top. Now, okay, I agree with Margot Robbie. That makes sense. All right. That definitely makes sense. Margot Robbie, one at the top. But some of these people, I mean, I don't really understand. They don't have a lot of pictures right here, but some of the individuals, it's like, man, come on, man. These rugby players, that ain't really it. But anyway, let's keep on rocking and rolling. We got a lot to get through. Now, this particular person right here is talking about college being a scam. Now, I think that college can be a scam if you let it. College most certainly can be a scam, but I think this person may have unrealistic expectations. Somebody said, oh, you're going to be in the gun battle, all right? I bet I will. A gun battle, a sword fight, all that. But anyway, let's go ahead and listen to the young lady right here.
I have a bone to pick with America.
Now, there might be a little bit of cussing, I think. So if you got little youngins, cover their ears. And sorry for the cussing. Blame the white woman.
So I'm headed to my serving job. I fucking hate it. I fucking hate it. Tell me why I make more money serving. I have my literal business marketing degree that put me in a cute $80,000 in debt.
So far, okay, this woman has a degree. I think, what was she saying? Business marketing. And she's like 80 grand in debt. And she's currently working as a server. but I believe she just graduated, so that kind of thing might happen, right?
And I make more serving sushi rolls because I've been applying to marketing jobs fucking for weeks now, and the pay cut is insane. But the jobs that are like a cute 150 to 200,000 a year, I'm not getting those.
Ma'am, you're like, what, 23 years old, 24 years old? You just graduated. You're trying to get paid $200,000 with a degree in what, marketing, business administration? Really? Some kind of generic degree like that? You know what? This is why I say college can be a scam if you let it. If you go and spend 80 grand on that kind of generic degree, you're kind of wasting your time a little bit. You're wasting time and money, in my opinion. You need to go for a more specialized skill that you can go and do something with. What's your plan with that money? You want to just go to college, spend that kind of money on a generic degree and try to get a job somewhere with that? I mean, you're going to have a hard time.
I'm a almost 25-year-old. My birthday's soon.
24 years old, just graduated college recently, a waitress, has a degree in business marketing or something like that, some kind of generic degree, and wants to get a job getting paid $200,000 a year. Ma'am.
Almost 25-year-old chick going against, corporate ass America, people with so much experience. All I got is my degree. People say, get your degree, but then they don't talk about how you need experience. The degree was the experience!
No, that's not quite how it works, ma'am. That's not quite how it works. You need real world experience. A degree is a degree. You could go online, get a degree. You can go to college in person, get a degree. So that really doesn't mean that much. You got to apply your skills in the real world and work your way up. If you're going to do the corporate America type situation, all right? If you're going to do that, you got to do that. But 200 grand off rip, good luck with that. Good luck with that. Do you know how hard it is to make that kind of money? How difficult, how much sacrifice and hard work and dedication it takes to make that kind of money as one person? I was reading a statistic where they said that 6.68% of married household income is beyond 200,000. Like 200,000 or more, 6.68% of household income, which usually means two people producing money, husband and wife or two partners or whatever it is. So you want to make that at 24 years old, fresh graduate with a generic degree? Man, you might as well go do something else, but I won't say nothing. If you like what you're hearing so far, y'all know what to do. Let's keep on rocking and rolling. We got a whole lot going on. There's a whole lot. Before we get to a few heavy things, here's a kind of a feel-good story. So there's an issue with China buying up American businesses, buying up farmland, buying up quite a few things. Do you guys know that China owns Smithfield Food? Okay, you getting your pork links and whatnot from the grocery store. That's owned by China. And that happened a few years ago. And I know when that happened because I think they got a plant out there in Virginia, in Smithfield, which is not far from where I grew up. And it was a big story when it happened. I knew a guy that worked at the plant right when the whole changeover happened. So it was a big deal. But there are quite a few companies in America that China owns that you would never know. We talk about things being made in China and that being too much. How about things made in America that have Chinese owners? How about some of the food you eat coming from a Chinese company in America that does not originate from the Chinese mainland? It originates from right here in U.S. soil. That's the issue. Now, Arkansas becomes the first state in the nation to force a Chinese state-owned company to give up its American land. Let's check it out.
I'm announcing that Syngenta, a Chinese state-owned agrochemical company, must give up its land holdings in Arkansas. Syngenta owns 160 acres in northeast Arkansas, which it uses primarily for seed research. The company that owns Syngenta, Kim China, is also on the Department of Defense's list of Chinese military companies posing a clear threat to our state. Seeds are technology. Chinese state-owned corporations filter that technology back to their homeland, stealing American research and telling our enemies how to target American farms. That is a clear threat to our national security and to our grape farmers, especially since the Chinese government enacted a law in 2017 requiring Chinese citizens abroad to collaborate with their country's security officials on intelligence work with no questions asked. This isn't about where you're from. We welcome Chinese Americans, Russian Americans, and anyone else who's given up foreign oppression for American freedom. This is about where your loyalties lie. We simply cannot trust those who pledge allegiance to a hostile foreign power. That's why I signed Act 525, sponsored by Representative McKenzie and Senator Boyd, to ban Chinese and Russian-made drones. And it's why I signed Act 758, sponsored by Representative McAlinden and Senator Stubblefield, banning public contracts with the CCP. We will make sure that every company operating in Arkansas is a friend to Arkansas and good to hardworking Arkansans. Secretary Ward has already notified Syngenta about this decision. If they refuse to sell, our Attorney General can move forward with legal proceedings and force them to get out of our state. Arkansas will always protect our farmers and our national security interest.
There we have it. So shout out to Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders, obviously Mike Huckabee's daughter. Very, very good move right there. And somebody asked the question, can you just force them to give up their land if they bought it? Yes, you can. I'm not sure exactly how they would go about doing it. Like you heard what she said. First, they're going to try to get them to sell. That's going to be the first thing. If they don't want to sell, then they can do certain things legally to make them leave. Now, one thing I would say is eminent domain. Okay, you can make a company get out of a place by that. Now, I don't know how they would use that specifically in this case, but I'm sure you could do it. You could buy him out, force him out, kick him out. You could do things like that in your state. Absolutely. They may have to be compensated, perhaps, but I'm not quite sure. Either way it goes, they can do this, and I'm glad they're doing it because we have a national security risk. All these foreign nations should not be able to have so much access to us, which is why when that whole spy balloon kerfuffle happened, that was a problem. They just let that balloon go across the country, take pictures, go on the site. Basically, the balloon was on vacation in America, having a good old time, hanging out in the air, taking pictures, basking in the sunshine and the good weather, and then went about his way. And then after that, the crazy thing about that situation with the spy balloon was after it was done, the mission, then they shut it down. It's like, really? Why would you do that right now after it's already talking about some, oh, well, we could have shut it down over America, but it could have hit a populated center. Really? For real? Come on. That thing was over remote area with nobody around. A lot of America is not very populated once you go past Mississippi River to the west. Once you go out that way, a lot of America has nothing in it. They could have shot that down over a 300-mile radius, and it would have just hit the ground, and it would have been fine. It would have hit no city center at all. But I digress. Let's keep on rocking and rolling here. We got quite a few videos on deck that I'm going to get to. We got to get to your main man, Joe Biden. Now, I don't know what's going on with Joe Biden. Every time I see this guy, he looks a tad bit different. Just a tad bit different. I don't know what's going on with him. Maybe you guys can let me know what's happening. What causes your chin to go a different direction? It's like, okay, if you got a chin that's like a unified chin, right? Ain't no split or dimple in the middle. It's a unified chin, right? And all of a sudden you got this split like a snake tongue going every which way. It's like, well, what's the science behind that? What is really going on with that? Now, let's go ahead and roll some video here, and so you can see what's going on. Then we're going to keep on rocking and rolling and get to a few heavier things. This guy's way too old. This guy looking like he needs to go just lay down in the box right now. If you catch my drift, lay down in the box and call it a wrap and just wait. Just wait. And then sooner or later, it'll be over with. What I don't want to see is this guy just kick the bucket on TV. Now, hold on. I have one more video I need to show right quick, so you guys hang tight. I think I have 3 videos of Joe Biden I got to put on the screen. Let me go ahead and get all of them up, or it might just be 2. We're going to see. Yeah, I got a few. So, yeah, I got like 4. Let's put all these on the screen. Perfect. Alrighty. So, first, we're going to do the chin videos. Then we're going to get to some other stuff. Alrighty. Here we go. Now, first, let's do a freeze frame. Before we even hear him speak, let's do a freeze frame. What's going on with your man's chin right here? Has that always been like that? I feel like this is a new thing that I'm seeing with the chin. It's like we got a little split and it's going different directions. Like there's like his chin is kind of like divorcing the other chin. They're going separate ways. And then why is your man Tony Blinken behind him like this? Like he's kind of like peeping on him. This is not Photoshop. This is a real video. Sir, what are you doing? Why are you hiding behind him like that? I don't understand. Let's keep on going.
Virtually every mass shooting, every circumstance where a large number of people have been victimized and lost, I've spoken to. I learned a long time ago what you've all learned in your life.
Now, okay, I'm trying to play it and have the volume to where you can hear what's going on. But are you able to understand what he's saying? I'm trying my best. I got my headphones on. I'm trying to listen very closely, but I'm having a hard time understanding what he's saying. And Tony Blinken in the back is not doing a very good job of keeping me focused because he's very distracting. I'm seeing him with half of his face covered behind the wall, trying to hide like a little kid, playing hide and go seek. It's strange. This is weird. Let's keep on going.
When someone's going through something that is beyond their comprehension, that they ever thought they'd have to go through. If they see someone who they think understands or maybe been through something not the same but similar, it gives them some sense of hope. And I always get criticized sometimes by my staff because when I go to these events, I stay for 3 and 4 hours and answer all their questions. But it matters. It matters a lot. And look, I'm talking, some of you have gone through a hell of a lot more than I've gone through, and a lot more than other people have gone through. And you understand. So it's just people are looking for just something to grab, something that gives them some sense of hope. And that's, if I can do a little bit of that, then it's worth doing. Done for me. So.
Okay, so were you able to get anything from that? Were you able to grasp what he was saying? I mean, I got some of it, I guess. He talked about, I guess, mass shootings and want something to grab. I got that little gesture right there. But beyond that, I didn't really get too much. If you guys got something from that, if you were able to glean information from what he said, y'all let me know. y'all just let me know what's going on. All right, let's keep on going. Is the volume not high enough? Okay, we have more. We have more. Here is the same setting, and I think this is just different remarks. Let's see if this is different or not.
And I'm not suggesting that Hamas deliberately did it either. It's that old thing, gotta know how to shoot straight. And it's not the first time Hamas has launched something that didn't function.
So he's talking about the Hamas, the alleged Hamas rocket that hit the hospital. We'll get to that a little bit later. We'll get to that, and we're going to really dive deep into it. But that's what he's referring to right here.
And I'm not suggesting that Hamas deliberately did it either. It's that old thing, got to learn how to shoot straight. And it's not the first time Hamas has launched something that didn't function.
All right, so that's that. Now, we have two more videos here. Now, this is him in Israel. So those two videos you just saw, they said that they were in Ramstein Air Force Base in Germany. And this is him in Israel. Now, I'm going to give him a little bit of credit. He might be a little bit tired right here because he's 1,000 years old and there's a big time difference between here and Israel. So I'll give him that. However, the man is still 1,000 years old and you can't really, there's no defense. It's like at a certain point, you can't live forever. If you've been alive since the Civil War, if you've been alive since King Tut, Queen Nefertiti, if you've been alive since Dawn of Man, at a certain point, you're going to have to just go to your next stage. But let's play this.
Years ago, I asked the Secretary of State when he and I were working in the Senate to write something for him, and he said, he wrote a line that I think is appropriate. He said, it's not, we lead, not just, well, I won't go into it. I'll wait later. Taking too much time.
That's your man. Let's play one more time. If you were not able to see, not able to hear what he said, let's play one more time and see if that helps at all with your comprehension. Let's keep on.
Years ago, I asked the Secretary of State when he and I were working in the Senate to write something for him, and he said, he wrote a line that I think is appropriate. He said, it's not, we lead, not just, well, I won't go into it. I'll wait later. Taking too much time.
All right, so let's play one more. Now, here he is, again in Israel. This is later. I'm not quite sure if it's the same day. It might be.
Today, I'm also announcing $100 million in new U.S. funding for humanitarian assistance in both Gaza and the West Bank. This money will support more than 1 million displaced and conflict-affected Palestinians, including emergency needs in Gaza. Today,
all right, so there we have it. That's your man, Joe. This is ridiculous, man. This man is way too old. Nothing against anybody that's elderly, but in your elderly years, you should be spent at home, hanging out with your kids, your grandkids, enjoying your life. You shouldn't be out here doing stuff like this. You shouldn't be out here representing the nation. That shouldn't be your objective, in my humble opinion. All right, you should be doing other things with your life rather than trying to be the face of a nation. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. But that's your president, right? How many millions of votes? 81 million, for real? You think that's the correct number? Hey, man, I can't call it. I can't tell. All right, so let's go to Jim Jordan. We're going to get to Israel and all that good stuff in a minute. So Jim Jordan is trying to become the Speaker of the House, but it's not happening. And a lot of you guys, I think the consensus from what I've been able to read from you guys is that you like Jim Jordan the best out of people that have a chance, I guess. So Steve Scalise is a good guy. I think I like Steve Scalise, but the problem is he has cancer. I mean, they say it's very treatable, but he has cancer. And to be third line of succession, president, vice president, Speaker of the House, that might not really be a good thing. Then people don't like Kevin McCarthy that much. He's unpopular and he was ousted. So Jim Jordan, I like Jim Jordan. I thought Jim Jordan would be a good speaker even before all this stuff went down. I like Jim Jordan for speaker before McCarthy got confirmed. But Jim Jordan is having a hard time being able to get in. So when he first tried to get voted in, he was 20 votes short. And I think that was on Tuesday when they first tried, 20 votes short. Now they tried again today and he was 22 or 23 votes short. So he didn't improve. He actually got worse. So I'm like, okay, what's going on with Jim Jordan? Why do they not want him to be the speaker? I don't really understand. Let me see if I can find a news clip right quick. But it's really weird. It's really strange. Let's look at this here on CNBC and see what they say about what's going on with your main man. Like I said, I like Jim Jordan. I think he'd be a great speaker of the House, but there's some things going on that is preventing him from being able to go forward, and I just don't know what it is. Maybe you guys can let me know in the comments. Why do you think Jim Jordan is having a hard time? And I think what's happening with him is even worse than what was going on with McCarthy when he was trying to become the speaker.
Let's start this afternoon in Congress. The House going on 15 days without a speaker, even as President Biden is promising major aid to Israel. Emily Wilkins is on Capitol Hill. Emily, what's the latest?
Well, Kelly, the House has just finished its second vote for Speaker, and once again, Jim Jordan has come short of the 217 votes that he will need. This time, 22 Republicans, technically two more than last time, voted against Jordan. And you saw a number of lawmakers flip their votes. You saw at least 4 who voted for Jordan before not vote for Jordan this time. But you also saw 2 who didn't vote for Jordan come back and vote for him. And so now Republicans are going to have to figure out what is next. Do they go to another speaker vote? Do they start taking other courses of action that don't involve Jordan as the nominee? We know that Republicans are going to be meeting after this vote, trying to figure out the next path forward. Something that seems to be gaining a lot of momentum is giving Patrick McHenry, the acting speaker, the power to pass legislation. So think that aid to Israel, that $100 billion we're expecting from the White House.
We got to do that, right? We got to get those monies over to the Middle East. One thing we're going to do is spend some money. Speaker or no speaker. Now, technically, there should be a speaker of the House to be able to pass budget resolutions. You know, that you got to have the House to do stuff like that. And in order to pass anything through, you got to have a speaker. But you just got to put an acting speaker in there to get that $100 billion out to a foreign nation. Meanwhile, over here in the U.S., we got a lot of problems. We got high inflation. Try going to the grocery store. Try buying a car. Try buying a house. Try buying basic food items, okay, eggs, milk, cheese, any kind of meat, try buying that. But $100 billion overseas, Ukraine, Israel, etc., no problem.
House, as well as government funding, because we are a month away now from another shutdown. And so there's some thought that if they could give McHenry just a temporary power to pass those bills, Republicans can then use that time to get together and figure out sort of a longer term path forward. But at this point, Kelly, it's just not clear whether we're going to see 16, 17 or 18 days without a speaker. It's not 100% sure what's going to happen. It truly, I feel like we've said this so much, but it truly is unprecedented and uncharted territory.
All right. So
that's what's happening with Jim Jordan. Now, what do you guys think? Do you think that he's just not wanting to go along with the same old thing? He's not part of the club, kind of a guy that just sticks to his own guns. And this is what I was saying with Kevin McCarthy. This is, I kind of saw this coming, unfortunately. And a lot of guys don't like McCarthy, but McCarthy was at least able to get people to coalesce around him. Unfortunately, there were just a handful of people that did not want him to be there, and they had enough power because of the slim majority in the House to be able to get that done. That's why that happened. If not for that, then he would still be there. So now we want to have Jim Jordan, and I think we can agree that he would be a better speaker. I think we like Jim Jordan better than Kevin McCarthy. I believe I like Jim Jordan better than Kevin McCarthy, and I was a guy that said that McCarthy shouldn't have got out. But the problem is you got too many people who you have to be able to please that you're not able to please if you are Jim Jordan. Now, hopefully they're able to get beyond their little issues. But ultimately, if Jim Jordan is forced to kind of placate them, if he's forced to cater to their wishes, then they will probably get the same things done and do the same things that they were doing under Kevin McCarthy. So it's like, what's the point in even going through all of this? Why even do it? What's the point if the end result will be the same? The focus should not necessarily be on McCarthy or Jim Jordan, in my opinion. The focus should be on getting a larger majority in the House. That should be the focus. So then you might have some radicals in the GOP in the House that might want to do X, Y, and Z, but they don't have as much power with a stronger majority. That's my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Let me know what you think in the comments, but that's pretty much where I come from. Somebody said Jim Jordan's America first. I agree with you. Absolutely. Born Free, Stay Free says, Rhino representing military industrial complex in Ukraine. Yeah, so rhinos are for that, I would suppose. Ukraine money is going to be a big thing. If Jim Jordan doesn't want to give Ukraine money, he's not going to be able to get a lot accomplished because a lot of the GOP want money to go to Ukraine. And the next thing is going to be Israel. They want that cash to go over to Israel and Ukraine. Joe Biden is trying to give 100 billion with a B, 100 million to Gaza, but 100 billion to Ukraine and Israel collectively. Let me see if I can find that right quick. Ukraine, Israel, like a joint care package, right? All right. Matter of fact, hold on. Here we go. Here we go. I got the article right here on the screen. Let me go ahead and just flash the headline right quick for you guys. All right, so check it out. Biden expected to seek $60 billion for Ukraine and aid for Israel in $100 billion funding request. The White House is expected Friday to submit to Congress supplemental funding requests that will also seek money for Taiwan. Wow, everywhere, huh? Like, didn't I already say we're trying to get into these three main conflicts? Israel, Ukraine, Taiwan. Didn't I call it? And the border. But the border ain't gonna get nothing. The border might get a few F-150s. That's about it. The border ain't getting nothing. That border is wide open. That border is open for business. It is not going to be anything that happens on the border at all. Kamala Harris is the border czar, and has she even been to the border? Maybe she went one time to El Paso, where there's already been a border wall for a very long time and a nice safe place with a military base. But are you going to go to Eagle Pass or somewhere? I doubt it heavily, but I digress. So look, now the 100 billion is just, listen, the 100 billion is just for Ukraine and Israel. Now, I'm gonna read this right here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Check it out. Okay, NBC with the ads covering the screen. So look, while it's not yet finalized, a supplemental funding package is likely to seek $60 billion for Ukraine, a lawmaker and two sources with knowledge of the request said. The rest of the request will include roughly $40 billion to provide aid to Israel, Taiwan, and the border. But how much of that $40 billion that they say would go toward Israel, Taiwan, and the border will go to Taiwan and the border? Probably 90% of it, at least, I would say. I definitely would say that. And my thing is, okay, the debt is just going out of control. The debt we have is crazy. We keep going to Jerome Powell, having him just crank up the printing press. But how can we continue to do this? We're kicking the can down the road, and it's going to be a problem when we're not even able to service the debt. We keep having these higher and higher interest rates. What are we really doing? I mean, you know, the girl I played earlier talking about she can't find a job that's going to pay $200,000 to request that kind of money out of college with a basic degree like that in marketing or something is pretty ridiculous with no experience and no real skill. But I understand why she wants that kind of money, because look at how much things will cost. Like, try buying a house. You want to buy a house in California and you're not a millionaire? Good luck. You better sell drugs. Don't do that, youngins. But you got to be doing something extra to be able to afford that kind of expenditure. I showed you guys the house the last stream. It was a regular, like my house. I have a nice house, but it's not like, it's a modest home. I have a 4-bedroom, a 3-bathroom house. My same house, basically, on the West Coast in Bend, Oregon, is $1.75 million. Now, my house was not necessarily cheap, but it was nowhere near that. I pay under 400, way under 1.75 million for my same house in Bend, Oregon. So if you're living over there, you probably do want to make 150 to 200. You're not gonna make it, but look at how much things cost. And we keep printing and printing and printing and printing and printing money. And to counteract the inflation, we want to keep raising interest rates. All it's going to do is just keep it to a minimum, but it's still going to rise. Like, you're not, when you're raising the rates and at the same time printing money, you're still having a very sharp increase in the inflation, but raising the interest rates makes it rise slower, makes it raise slower, but it's still raising. So it's a mess. So rather than your McDonald's sandwich costing $5, it might cost $4.25, but it should cost $1. You see what I'm saying? Anyway, I digress. Hey man, shout out to you, Charlie. You know what? If I got my house probably about 2 years earlier, I could have paid a lot less. Yeah, because in my neighborhood, in my old neighborhood, there were some houses that I was looking at. I was on Zillow looking at some of the sale prices, what they sold for back probably in 2018, 2019. These houses are going for like 230, 240. And the houses are similar to mine. Not quite the same, but similar. In a similar subdivision for about 230. So now those same houses in my house, 5, 6, even where I live in Tennessee. So like, let's say I go to Nashville, it's going to be a lot more. I go out there to Franklin and all, it's going to be in the millions. If I go to Oregon, Washington, California, Bozeman, Montana, out of this world. Out of this world. All right. It's crazy. The California virus is spreading. The inflation is spreading. The money printing is spreading. It's causing the problem. But hey, don't worry. We can send $100 billion to foreign wars. That's what I'm talking about. This is why I voted for Trump. At least part of the reason why I voted Trump. I did not want to get involved in all these foreign wars and have ourselves stretched so thin. I didn't want it, but here we are. Here we are. And I think we all saw it coming. As soon as Biden became the president, however he became the president, I think we all saw that we be right here, right now, dealing with foreign wars. Okay, we got Israel. We got aircraft carriers over there in the Mediterranean. We got Ukraine, giving them billions upon billions. We got this guy, Zelensky, coming to the White House with sweatpants and basketball shoes, Nike Air Force Ones, and polo shirts, talking about, yo, can I get 10 billion? Can I hold 20 billion? Can I hold 100 billion? And I ain't giving you $1 back. Okay? I'm not going to provide any kind of, I won't give you anything of value in return. Well, I might give Hunter Biden some money. I might give Joe some money, but not the average everyday American citizen. But I digress. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. And old school, man, the number is not in effect yet. I'm going to open the lines in a little while. I'll give you a heads up, boss. So thank you, man. I appreciate you for joining. And Honeybee says 1 million won't get a studio where I live. Imagine paying over $1 million for a studio apartment. 1 million. I mean, at that point, if that was my option, I'll live in my car on principle. I live in my truck. Like, yo, I'm gonna live in my truck just because. I refuse to pay. Even if I could pay the million, I'm not gonna pay $1 million to live in the shoebox. Okay. New York City, especially, Y'all got roaches the size of cats and rat. Now, listen, I'm not paying $1 million to have these roaches get in my ear at night. I'm not going to have it. All right. I saw this video on Instagram. I'm not going to play it, but I saw a video of a rat in the store. The rat was the size of a beaver. It had a tail, obviously, of a rat. But if you were to show me the rat from the front without showing me the tail, I'd be like, yo, you got a beaver making the dam in the bodega. The beaver is trying to dam up the drinks and the cakes in the poppy store. Real talk. That thing was humongous. It was, and look, you might have apartments with that going on, like an infestation. I'm like, and you got to pay $1 million for this? Nah, no, I refuse. You guys are like New York City. God bless you. Me personally, it's just too much congestion, too much stink. And, but if you like New York City, then hats off to you. Shout out to all the New Yorkers. Nothing against you guys, but there's some problems in the city. We got the migrants going on. We got sanitation efforts that are kind of failing. It's a mess. LA, same thing. I don't like it, but that could just be me. It's just too many souls in one area. Too much. It's like Tower of Babel. Too much going on. Different languages and scents and anyway. Oh man. Okay, let's keep on rocking and rolling here. I don't want to get too deep into that particular train of thought. There is a whole lot going on. Oh, let's get to the drunk politician in Atlanta, because that was a funny one. Kind of a little bit. Well, not Atlanta, but Morrow, Georgia, which is in the Atlanta metro area. Clayco, for all you guys in the area, Clayton County. Let's go ahead and show that right quick. And if you like what you're hearing, please give the video a thumbs up. Now, the lady said that, hold on.
Good evening.
Let me get it on the screen. The lady said that somebody drugged her drink, right? This is a Clayton County commissioner. So I guess she's elected or selected. Regardless of what, you're talking about a politician. Now, she said that she went to this sports bar and somebody drugged her drink, but really, she was just drinking a little bit of everything. She had wine, beer, and liquor. I mean, she was going 3 for 3, the trifecta. And of course, after all them drinks, she was outside the club, passed out. Of course. Now, let's go ahead and roll this to see what she's talking about.
Everyone, I'm Linda Stouffer. Police are now questioning a local county commissioner's story after she claimed someone spiked her drink at a bar. New at 6, Channel 2 investigative reporter Mark Winnie is live in Morrow. And Mark, police told you they have not found any evidence that anyone targeted the commissioner, Felicia Franklin, with GHB.
Now, Bill Cosby was not in the building. I think he's still locked up. I'm not really sure, but Bill Cosby didn't do it.
We can show you drink by drink by drink by drink on video what happened according to a Morrow police investigator. And we can bring you key parts of Commissioner Franklin's side because we've got video of her interview with that police sergeant.
Get him out my face! You gotta get him out my face! Oh, you get him out my face!
Now look, okay. I'm no expert in drugs and what they do to your body, okay? But from what I hear, the Bill Cosby effect, the GHB, the date assault drug, it knocks you out. You're not going to be able to be doing all this extra stuff. You're not going to be like, get him out my face. You're not going to do all that on GHB. So clearly, she's just drunk right here. That's what being an angry drunk is all about. Okay, you didn't got the brown, the white, the red, every color of alcohol in your body. That's what's going on. Let's go ahead and just roll that back one time so you can rehear that.
We've got video of her interview with that police sergeant.
Get him out my face! You gotta get him out my face! Oh, you get him out my face!
Yo, the drunk auntie is crazy. That's the auntie right there that come to the family reunion and want to fight everybody. Okay, want to bring up old stuff from your childhood and just stomp everybody in the wine. Pun intended.
After reviewing all these hours of video and body cam video, there is no evidence to support the claim of Ms. Franklin having something put in her drink from the body cam and the video at 404 Sports Bar and Grill.
This is Clayton County Commissioner Felicia Franklin.
That is correct.
Look, so you see her dancing. She having a good old time. Got the little party girl dress on. Auntie out there. Hey, mama got a life too. Ain't that right? That's what's going on right here.
The Clayton County Commissioner, the cameras, and her claims suggesting she may have been drugged.
Having a good old time out there partying, dancing. All right.
And her claim.
That's what's going on.
Suggesting she may have been drugged. Morrow Police Sergeant Scott Stewart says he reviewed hours of police body cam video and security video from inside the 404 Sports Bar and Grill to determine what caused Clayton County Commissioner Felicia Franklin to pass out outside the club and later behave combatively in a Morrow Fire EMS ambulance after an officer summoned help because she may have hit her head outside 404 the night of September 29th.
Oh, is Bill Cosby out? I didn't know Bill Cosby was out. So, hey, but I don't think Bill Cosby was in Atlanta doing this because Bill Cosby's MO is to get you knocked out. You ain't going to know what's going on, okay? And this lady right here was just a belligerent drunk. That's all that was going on.
She's been on medication for 2 weeks.
A Morrow police document says, quote, there is no evidence to support the claim of Ms. Franklin having something put in her drink. This is obtained from video at 404 Sports Bar and Grill, unquote.
Now, the thing about it is she was on medication. I think she had some kind of sinus infection or something. I'm not sure what the medication was for. But one thing to say, if you're on medication, do not mix the medication with alcohol. That's what they say right there on the package, right there in the bottle. Do not mix with alcohol. And she most certainly did that with quite a few different types of alcohol in the same night.
We are pending a subpoena for blood to see if blood work was done at the hospital when she went.
They didn't draw blood for whatever reason.
Commissioner Franklin has told us her doctor says her behavior and symptoms were consistent with someone having drugged her with GHB, commonly known as a date rape drug. And in fairness, one video shows...
I don't know what they gave.
Are you okay?
No, I'm not. I don't know what they gave.
Where's your purse?
Sergeant Stewart said a receipt collected from 404 Sports Bar and Grill indicates Commissioner Franklin paid the tab with a credit card called Committee to Elect Felicia. He suggested a document indicates she had 3 of the That's Home Run drinks.
So look, check it out. Here's the receipt. I'm going to read it right quick. Okay. We have egg rolls, fries, a Pinot Noir, a glass of wine, and we have 3 of That's a Home Run drinks. These are mixed liquor. So you got red wine, you got liquor, mixed drinks, and she had some beer.
The police document indicates it contains 40 proof Hennessy and Grand Marnier. Plus a glass of wine was ordered.
A 9-ounce pour was ordered. The waitress here is delivering
a 9-ounce pour, which is the bigger one, because they'll tell you 6 or 9. She got the 9-ounce pour. Then she had 3 mixed drinks with Hennessy, brown liquor in it, and she had a beer. Somebody else's beer. It wasn't even hers.
The first drink of wine to Commissioner Franklin that she ordered. This is the first home run drink that Miss Franklin ordered after the wine. That would be the second home run that was ordered by Miss Franklin. That's the part where she left the drink at the table. Nobody touches it at that table as well. So that's the home run drink delivered by the waitress there. We believe it's her 4th drink.
4th drink, your evidence indicates, ordered and received by Commissioner Felicia Franklin.
That is correct.
I just want to be very blunt with you.
You can be blunt.
You had 5 drinks.
I didn't drink 5 drinks.
Sergeant.
Yo, that Hennessy make you do something else. Like, isn't Hennessy part of the Incredible Hulk? Maybe I'm tripping because I don't really know about all these mixed drinks, but so like that brown liquor mixed with the red wine and the beer, that's going to cause you to be aggressive and your medication. So that's just a bad combination.
Sergeant Stewart said the 5th drink to which he referred during his interview with Commissioner Franklin.
But I didn't order 5 drinks.
Okay. So let's
I didn't order 5 drinks.
Okay.
Was a swig of someone else's beer he observed on video.
I'm assuming.
What's up, that?
It looked like a Corona to me, or whatever. It was a beer bottle.
That's when I started feeling funny.
Okay.
After the band left is what I told you when I first walked in. That's when it got fuzzy because I don't remember.
So do you think...
Sergeant Stewart says Commissioner Franklin was adamant repeatedly that she did not consume 5 drinks.
So is that what we do in the club, in the bar? We go to get drinks that others have on the table. So, all right, you got the drink right here, right? You got the drink, and then it's just sitting right there on the bar. You go to somebody, start talking, you just drink their drink. Is that what we do? Total strangers or friends? Like, I don't know if that's, the appropriate thing to do, but whatever. If I'm on a date with you, maybe I might take a little sip of your drink across the table, but I'm not going up to a bar and be like, hey, there's a beer right there. I'm going to just swig that on down after I done already had 2, 3, 4, 5 drinks.
And that she suggested some of the drinks on her bill must have been for other people. He says she did not consume all of at least her first That's a Home Run drink, but he can confirm some consumption of other drinks.
I didn't even order food. He put everybody on my bill.
I don't care who Patty is. You are my patient.
A Lake City police report says Morrow EMS requested I follow behind them to the hospital. It says at an intersection, the ambulance stopped.
You gotta get him out my face. I don't give a get him out my face. You better get him out my face.
Not him.
You better get him out my face.
Ma'am, you're about to go to jail.
I don't give a get him out my face.
Crying. See that right there? That's a classic drunk move right there, is the tears. When that happens, when they're actually hitting you, because she hit the guy in front of him. Get him out my face. When you aggressive like that and crying, that's a classic drunk tale.
Swig of beer, as I recall, if you couldn't understand that part about the fifth drink. It seems the commissioner did not go to jail, but to a hospital. Comments on video, if accurate, indicate she'd been ill recently, a sinus infection or bronchitis, and had been on medication, prednisone for one at least. A quick Google search suggested possible side effects of
Now let's pause right here. Let's go back, because I might have missed one point I wanted to make.
Felicia. He suggested a document indicates she had 3 of the That's Home Run drinks. A police document indicates it contains 4 indicates Commissioner Frank B, commonly known as a date rape drug. And in fairness, one video shows 404 Sports Bar and Grill indicates Commissioner Franklin paid the tab with a credit card called Committee to Elect Felicia. He said,
so you heard that. Okay, that's what I wanted to hear. So she paid with a credit card called Committee to Elect Felicia. Remember, she is the Clayton County, Georgia County Commissioner, and she paid with the credit card. It said Committee to Elect Felicia. Now, is that appropriate to pay a bar tab about $100 with your county commission election card? Isn't that using campaign finance? Wouldn't that be illegal? I don't know. I'm just asking questions, but that was a key point I wanted to point out. So we got a violent drunk, crying drunk. That's not a very happy drunk. I don't want to be around that person when they're drinking. That's the kind of person that will come home and beat everybody up when they're drunk. But if you like what you heard so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Yeah, ain't no white man to blame here. There's no white man to blame. You're gonna blame that red wine and that brown liquor and that swig of beer you had. That's what you're gonna blame. Ain't no white man to blame at all. Let's keep on going here. We got a few more things on deck that I want to get into. All right. Now, where are we going to go? Oh, here's a good one. The one I did today about Gen Z. So this is really crazy. And you know what I want to do?
Do you think a 12-year-old?
Okay, before we get to it, what I want to do is play some of the video that I did back in 2020 when I was on Jubilee. All right, because I said the same thing. I brought this topic up back then. I brought it up back then. Let me see if I can find it, because the question we were asked back then was about Dwayne Wade's son, right? The boy. And I was asked about that. Let me see if I can pull it up here.
Year-old children.
All right, there we go.
LGBT.
So the question was, the question was, the black community should accept LGBTQ rights. That's the prompts we were given. And then I'm going to play my answer, and then we're going to get into a video from this year, recently, of people being asked a similar question. Now, again, this was back in 2020.
No, it shouldn't happen. And gluttony is part of the human race. People.
All right, we gotta skip past Miss Maga.
All right. Now, my viewpoint on the thing about LGBT rights, what are we talking about exactly? I want to be very specific with this particular thing, because when I hear that, I'm thinking about Dwayne Wade's son. He's 12 years old. Do you think a 12-year-old boy should be able to call himself transgender? Is that what we're going to do? Do we think that we should have 4- and 5-year-old children on puberty blockers, hormone blockers, because they think at that age they're transgender? You can't even get a tattoo under the age of 18. You can't smoke cigarettes. You can't drink beer.
So that's what I said back then, right? It made sense. Look, you want to be 12 years old and call yourself transgender, yet you can't smoke cigarettes, you can't drink beer, you can't get a tattoo. What are we talking about? How about we just let children be children, and then if you want to become 18 years old, grow up, and then decide that, then it's fine. And as a matter of fact, this guy right here, well, this right here is a woman, okay?
Start at the early ages. So actualize, you start that at that age. You start.
That's a woman who identifies as a man, all right? Now, this person said that their parents told her she could become a male when she got 18. I said the same thing that her parents said, all right? And this person did not have any kind of hatred or animosity toward the parents. And one thing about this, you may see this person got a beard and all this kind of stuff, but in person, I could clearly tell that was a woman, because she's still like 5'2", fun size, all that good stuff. Even with a beard, I still see a female stature. All right. Somebody say I look 24 years old. Listen, that was 3 years ago. I just had no beard. I tell you, people say, "Oh, you look so old." It's like, look, if I shave this beard off, I'll be 25 years old again. All right. But let's keep on going. Now I'm going to play a newer video covering a similar topic about the idea of tattoos versus puberty blockers. All right. Let's check it out. Now, ain't no pause, back up. Ain't no pause, because it's still a woman. Hey, she was still a woman, beard or no beard. She was still a woman. So, nah, she was fun size, had the female stature, all of that. Sure did. Sure did. Let's keep on going.
Do you think a 12-year-old should be able to get a tattoo?
I'm going to say no.
Probably not.
No. It's probably too young to make decisions.
It's a pretty permanent decision.
They can't make the decision for themselves yet. It's something permanent on their body.
Do you think a 12-year-old should be able to consent to puberty blockers?
Yes.
Yes.
And I understand how that sounds really hypocritical.
Yes, it's a permanent change on their body, but I think that at that point in their life, they probably know who they are, who they want to be.
And you think...
So tattoos, that is a bridge too far, but puberty blockers, not really a big deal, right?
So at 12 years old?
Yes.
Do you think a 12-year-old should be able to consent to puberty blockers?
Yes, because that's not a permanent decision.
That's a life-changing decision. I don't think that any 12-year-old is in a position to make a decision that's going to affect them long term.
Hey, shout out to the mustache, bro. Shout out to the mustache, bro. Number one, first thing I'm going to give him a shout out for is that glorious mustache. That mustache right there needs to go into the Smithsonian Museum. Put it right there in the front in glass and have that be a national treasure first. Second, what he's saying right here is common sense. And unfortunately, nowadays, common sense does not appear to be too common.
Term.
When you get puberty blockers, for a lot of kids, that's like life-saving. It's keeping them from having to go through a puberty. I think puberty blockers are a great sort of like middle ground to allow a child to better understand themselves without having to make decisions like surgery or doing nothing and having to live through a puberty that is not within, that they don't identify with.
I think there's plenty of time to make those decisions later on once they've had a chance to decide exactly what they want their identity to be.
I think that maybe there should be more waiting, but I don't want to put down trans ideas, so.
Do you think a 12-year-old...
See, look, did you hear that? I'll play it one more time.
I think that maybe...
Exactly what they want their identity to be.
I think that maybe there should be more waiting, but I don't want to, put down trans ideas, so.
So, did you hear that? She says there should be more waiting, meaning if somebody wants to identify as transgender, maybe they shouldn't be 12 years old and going down that road. But she doesn't want to put down trans ideas. So she doesn't want to be seen as a transphobe. She doesn't want to be homophobic, although she knows that it is not appropriate to allow a 12-year-old to go down that road. So it's like, what are we doing? You're allowing society to shape your viewpoint on this thing that you know is wrong. She said she thinks there should be more waiting, but I don't want to offend anybody. That's crazy. And imagine if that's your mom. If that's your mom and she's making a decision about you based on what the outside world thinks rather than what she knows to be true. It's the evil world we live in.
So,
Do you think a 12-year-old should be able to consent to puberty blockers?
If they can make an informed decision, yeah.
And you think a 12-year-old can make an informed decision?
I don't know. I guess it depends on the 12-year-old.
Like a really-
I don't know. Maybe they can, maybe they can't. Ain't no big deal. And before I continue, shout out to this YouTube channel, Man versus Street YouTube channel. Y'all please go subscribe to my man right now. And shout out to his glorious head of hair. If I had hair like that, man, look, I wouldn't wear no hats ever. I'd be out here with Shamar Moore braids down to my backside. But let's keep on going.
Mature 12-year-old.
Right, yeah.
Because some children you can just tell, like, when that decision is legit with them, but like a 12-year-old child, I think that would be a little difficult.
At 12 years old, you have a sense of your gender identity, of your sex identity.
Whoa. Did you hear that? At 12 years old, you have a sense of your gender identity and your sex identity? For real? Really? Is that what we're going to say? I mean, lady, we need to just pump the brakes here.
So I don't see why. I mean, we know there's kids that young killing themselves because they have so much gender dysphoria that they're having.
Now, let's pause right here because I know I'm pausing a lot. I'm sorry, blame the white man. But I heard Candace Owens say it, and I might have to do some research to back it up specifically, and I think that she's correct. She was saying that after they go through with gender reassignment, puberty blockers, things of that nature, their rate of wanting to delete themselves goes up. Because think about it like this. If you're 12 years old and you get put on puberty blockers, right? And at a time or during a time you should be going through puberty naturally, you're not really having that happen. Now you're having medical complications. And that's going to persist as you get to be older. You're not liking what you see in the mirror because you made a bad decision at 12 years old, or you were allowed to do so by your parents. So whatever you had going on at 12 is getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And the rate of wanting to delete yourself goes up. It goes up. Matter of fact, I did a study, I think it was in Sweden, and they said that children that get on puberty blockers, when they get to be older, they have very serious medical complications. They were saying that girls' spines did not fuse properly because during puberty, there are things that are happening aside from just, I don't know, like for boys, deeper voice or whatever. It's more than just surface level things you can see. It's more than that. It's deeper than that. So the girls' spines were not fusing properly. So they're 30 years old, hunched over, back pain, back problems, and a lot of them just died early because they had their biology interrupted by these drugs. Okay, you can't just try to play God. Your body is designed to grow and age in a certain way. And when you want to interfere with that process, you're going to have problems that you may not really be able to understand until later. This is why I don't want to get on these brand new vaccines and all kind of stuff, because you don't know what it's going to do to you until later. Okay, just like asbestos. Okay, you were in the shipyard getting exposed to asbestos. Then it's a commercial talking about if you're hurt, call Jones McCarry, call Jones and Bieber, and put some money in. You're part of a class action lawsuit if you breathe asbestos in the 1980s. Now you got COPD, but I'm getting too triggered, so I digress.
Having to deal with the struggles of being trans. So why would we, if there's a simple answer like puberty blockers, I think it's...
A simple answer like puberty blockers. like the name, you're blocking puberty. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. You're blocking human development. See, you don't stop developing once you're born. I think people have a very, I don't know, man, people not being educated properly. They think that when you're in gestation in the womb, that you only develop at that point. And as you grow, you just get bigger. That's not it. Your jaw, your teeth, your eyes, your ears, your legs, your limbs, and your organs, all kind of stuff is changing. Everything, bones, all of that is changing as you live. That's just what it is. Let's keep on going.
One of the best resources.
Okay. So if a 12-year-old thinks they're a different gender, they should be able.
Look at that shirt right there. Look at that right there. So you already know where she's gonna go.
So if a 12,
you already know what she's gonna say based on the shirt. The shirt reads, "Bands off our bodies." You already know where we're going.
Year-old thinks they're a different gender, they should be able to go in and be like, I want puberty blockers.
I mean, I don't think it's that simple as that. I think there's a lot more like medical theory and social wellness that needs to be incorporated into that interaction between a 12-year-old and I guess a doctor, if that's what you're saying they're going to. But I do think that a 12-year-old should have that choice.
What do you have to say to those people that let their children consent to puberty blockers at like 10, 11, 12 years old?
I would say that I disagree with you, and I think you're an irresponsible parent.
Hey, mustache bro, you gave me hope for the future. So, my man, if you're watching this, shout out to you. Hats off to you. You did fantastic in this particular man on the street interview. Did great. Common sense, man, and he said it respectfully. He was not bombastic. He just said it really straightforward in the way that anybody can understand if they're being civil and serious. All right, so shout out to him, 100%. But again, that was the Man versus Street YouTube channel. Y'all please go subscribe to my man right now. Very good. He posed a question, didn't really interrupt, and just let it rock like that. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. I was reading a comment. My man said his mustache disagrees. That's funny. All right. Now, there's more I want to get into. I kind of want to get into Israel right now because this is a thing that I've been kind of going back and forth over on Twitter. People are upset. But let me explain my stance. I think that any nation's government can be criticized. I don't care who you are. You could be Israel, U.S., and y'all know me. I criticize the U.S. more than anything. I think that the U.S. has a lot of secrets and things that we have done that need to get exposed. I criticize us, my own country that I love, that I would die for. I criticize us more than anything. So if I'm going to criticize my own country that I would die for, I'll most certainly criticize your country that I have no connection to. If I see that something's wrong, I don't care if you are a nation that has this religion, that religion. I don't look at things based on color. I don't look at things based on religion. I look at things based on, hey, what's going on with that? I'm going to ask questions. Okay, now we know Hamas. We know what they did. They attacked. They're killing people. It's like we already know what they're doing. And nobody's trying to say that they're not attacking, that they're not killing, that they're not doing heinous things. Nobody's trying to say that. But on the other side, it's like, are we totally innocent? Do we not have anything that we have done wrong? Is there no thing that you can criticize? Now, before I get into it, the thing I'm talking about is a hospital strike. Now, I think Israel has something to do with this most recent hospital strike because they struck the hospital Saturday. And I'm gonna explain all of that. I have a lot of information about this, and what I'm gonna say, most people that speak on this, mainstream media that speak on this, are totally leaving out all the information. It's going to be hard to get concrete evidence to say who did what with the hospital on Tuesday. But we can give all the information and you can make an opinion about it. In my video about this, I said, I think my opinion is that Israel did it. That's my opinion. Now, you could bring forth evidence and prove me wrong, but that's my opinion. Everyone entitled to their own opinion. You may like pineapple on pizza. I might not. That's not right or wrong. It's just an opinion. Now, this was happening with the hospital is like, in my opinion, Nord Stream 2. Now, we all know that the U.S., or we think the U.S. popped a hole in Nord Stream 2. And the official story was, oh, it was an explosion and we don't know who did it and all kind of stuff. But first of all, we saw a destroyer, a U.S. destroyer in the area, in the Baltic first. Second, it makes no sense for Russia to blow it up because they're getting a bunch of money that way. I don't think Ukraine would have done it. If they did it, we gave them the weaponry necessary to do it. The U.S. did that because it was a way to weaken Russia, which is the whole point of the proxy war over in Ukraine, is to weaken Russia. We want to fight Russia without fighting them directly, because if we fight directly, then they're going to get into nuclear warfare, which would be mutually assured destruction. The whole world will collapse. But if we can make Ukraine become an enemy to Russia that they think they can defeat, and there's no need for nukes, they're going to do that. And we're going to fight them that way to wear Russia down. And part of the war would be to do things like pop the hole in Nord Stream 2 pipeline to weaken Russia. Now, am I saying that I hate America because I made that assumption, made that opinion, gave that opinion? No, I'm just saying it looks like we did it. Now, and there are some things that are 100% true. Like we, the U.S. and Israel, are responsible for Hamas getting in power, because Hamas is not just a terrorist organization. They are an elected government, and we help them. We help them get elected in Palestine. They had an election, and they elected Hamas. We supported them. We helped them get in power. Same thing, Muammar Gaddafi, Saddam Hussein, Osama bin Laden, Manuel Noriega. We get involved in foreign affairs and mess it up. We get involved in foreign affairs and mess things up on purpose so we're able to benefit as the West, as America. I say, let's stop getting involved and stop messing things up intentionally or unintentionally. Very simple. I'm not going to apologize for a thing. I'm not going to apologize for nothing. Never. Ask me again, see what I say. Because when I'm talking about them attacking the hospital on Saturday and nobody's refuting it, nobody wants to say anything about it. Nobody's saying, oh, well, they shouldn't have done that. Listen, here's what happened. Israel gave the order to evacuate Northern Gaza. What was that, like last week? They gave the order to evacuate Northern Gaza. Now, as I said, that's 1.1 million people. How are you going to evacuate that many people in a very small area? How are you going to do it? Matter of fact, hold on. Let's get the map on the screen. Now, as I said before, Gaza is the size of 2 Washington put together. Our nation's capital put together is the size of 2 of those. Washington, D.C. Let's go ahead and put it on the screen. Gaza, what's this? The blockade. So 2 nation's capitals, Washington, D.C. put together. That gives you Gaza. This is a small area. And it's blockaded. Now, can we get a map? All right, let's get the map. Here we go. This is perfect. Perfect. Now, that is your Gaza. All right. You see the area highlighted in green. You have basically 2 borders. Well, kind of 3 borders, but really 2. You got a border with Egypt. That's kind of blocked off. And you have checkpoints. And that's heavily regulated by Egypt and Israel. Because Gaza, although it's governed by Hamas, is technically part of Israel. So it's dominated by Israel. The hospital was hit. We're going to get into it. Don't even, just wait. I'm going to show you everything. Now, you have a no-go zone, which is the red. That's a border between Gaza and Israel proper. That's heavily regulated. You have watchtowers, cameras, radars, a fence, an alarm system. You have a wall on the northern part. And once you get into the Mediterranean, there's a enforced blockade that the Israeli military is over. So you have a blockade over this whole little area that's not that big. Okay, it's not that big at all. So the northern part has 1.1 million people, right? You see where it says Gaza right there on the actual screen, and in that area, maybe even the Gaza power plant, that particular part, 1.1 million people. The whole Gaza, about 2.3 to 2.4 million people. So they want all of them. How you go? You can't go north. You got a wall right there. You can't go to your east. You got borders and walls right there. You can't go into Israel. In Egypt, you only got 3 crossings, and they don't want you to be in there either. Trying to go out into the water, you got a blockade right there. You got to try to get some kind of foreign power to get you out. So they got to go cram down in here with another 1.4 million people in that particular part of the country. So obviously, everyone can evacuate. Now, the hospital was a place where they were sheltering, and it's an actual legitimate hospital run by a Christian organization. It's an Anglican church, a Christian church that runs the hospital. And they said there's no Hamas there. You can believe him or not, it doesn't really matter. The point is that this is a real hospital with actual injured people, elderly, et cetera, so on and so forth. Now, people that could not necessarily just escape were in the hospital sheltering in place, because rather than being in their houses where they might get shelled by the Israelis who told them to evacuate because they're going to shell, they went to the hospital. Now, check it out. The Israelis told them to evacuate Northern Gaza, and there was a list of 20 places to evacuate. One of the places was the hospital. They told the hospital they were going to bomb them on Friday. They changed it to Saturday, and Saturday they did bomb them. Now, the Saturday bombing wasn't that bad. It was only 4 injured. But they did bomb the hospital. Now, tell me the excuse for that. Nobody's trying to address that. Nobody wants to address how they told them to evacuate and told them they're going to bomb the hospital, and they did bomb it on Saturday, not Tuesday, because Tuesday is the big event that everybody's talking about. Saturday, before Tuesday. So about 3 days before the big attack or the explosion or whatever, the IDF bombed the hospital. What's the excuse? Oh, ABL, Hamas was there. They have underground munitions. Okay, so if they bombed them and it's okay, then what's the stretch to say that they bombed them 3 days later? Doesn't that make sense? If they said evacuate, if they said we're going to bomb you, if they said evacuate the hospital specifically and they bombed it, wouldn't they bomb it again 3 days later? Huh? Or here's the other story. Hamas just happened to launch a rocket 3 days later. It falls from the sky for no reason, falls on the hospital parking lot, and kills 500 people. You tell me which story makes more sense. Either way it goes, the bombing on Saturday happened, and nobody is refuting it. They only want to refute Tuesday. Now, I'm going to read some of the comments and see what's going on. All right, I'm going to read some of the comments. All right. And I'm going to play a video, and I got articles and everything. I reported on a Saturday incident. I got an article I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to play a video. All right. The hospital got hit on Saturday. That is a fact. All right. No, JB. They were not 2 different hospitals. It was an Al-Ali Arab hospital that got hit twice in 1 week. Saturday and Tuesday. Tuesday is what everybody's talking about. Saturday, they don't want to touch with a 10-foot pole because they know for 100% certain that they did it. But everybody is totally ignoring it. Nobody is mentioning that. Now, I'm going to get into it. I will get into it. Hold on. Matter of fact, let's show I'll pull up an article right quick. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna pull the article up, then I'm gonna put the video so you can see what I'm talking about, and I'm gonna bring everything together. I'm gonna bring the Saturday incident and the Tuesday incident, and we're gonna just see exactly what's going on here. All right. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. By my perspective, have a nice day. No need to do any kind of announcing. No need to announce you're going to leave. Just go ahead and, you know what I mean, do what you got to do. All right. Now, let's show the video. Well, the article first, then we're going to show a video. All right. Let me see if I can pull it up right quick. All right, here we go. Perfect. All right. Here's one. And then let's pull the other one. All right, perfect. So we have an article. So check it out. So here it is. Anglican-run Al-Ali Arab Hospital in Gaza damaged by Israeli rocket fire as war continues. Now, can you guys see the date on that? This is posted October the 16th at 9:14 a.m. Now, I'm not necessarily the smartest guy in the world, but the incident we're talking about on Tuesday, that was yesterday, the 17th, not the 16th. The hospital was struck on the 14th. And it says right here, Anglican-run Al-Ali Arab Hospital in Gaza damaged by Israeli rocket fire as war continues. And you have pictures of the damage right here. Right here. Now, this was not that bad. This was just, you had 4 people injured. Wasn't really that bad, right? It doesn't really matter because the point is that they were warned to evacuate. They were warned to leave. They told them they were going to strike, and they struck. Now, here is what I want to see. Let me see if I can find the actual date here. So the strike on Al-Ali Arab Hospital happened at 7:30 p.m. EEST, 4:30 p.m. GMT on Saturday, October the 14th. The other attack was Tuesday, October the 17th. So have I proven that the Israelis hit the hospital on Saturday? Have I proven that? And if I've not proven it, we're going to see a video. Then we're going to get into the other attack and bring it all home. We're going to bring it on home, right? Let's check it out. All right. Can I play the video or not?
Last night, as every night, news agency cameras locked off in Gaza to record the explosions. At 10 to 7, they pick up what appears to be a rocket above Gaza, apparently exploding in midair. Shortly after, 2 explosions. The second, believed to be in the hospital car park, causes a large and immediate fire. There's no proof that the midair and ground explosions are necessarily linked. We spoke to one eyewitness.
I live very near to the hospital, and we have seen, the neighboring area have seen the bombs dropping on the hospital. The explosion was so massive and so huge, and the mountain fire rising up into the sky was.
Now, we're watching the video. This is, at this moment in the video, they're talking about the Tuesday attack. Okay, so just stick with me. They're going to get to the Saturday attack as well. They're going to show it all in this video. So y'all please hang tight. But right now we're talking about the Tuesday attack. Then we're going to go backtrack in this video. So check it out.
So horrible. We instantly knew that this is the Ahli Arab Hospital. It's the Baptist hospital, the oldest Christian hospital in Gaza Strip.
Dr. Mohammed Al-Naka said there was no warning and about 3,000 people were sheltering here. He said, "We don't know what it was, but we know what it can do after it targeted children who were cut to pieces." Gaza's Hamas-controlled health ministry says 471 people were killed. If so, that's by far the worst single loss of life for Palestinians in all the long wars with Israel. Doctors held a press conference standing in the middle of a makeshift mortuary. It is clear scores of people at least were killed. Moreover,
so we do know that it was not just, a parking lot got blew up and nobody died. I mean, we got dead bodies and people injured. I mean, so we're seeing that, but let's keep on going.
But the Archbishop of Canterbury has said the hospital was attacked at the weekend, at least 4 civilians injured. And on Sunday, the Israeli...
Let's go back. Did you hear what he said? Listen.
It is clear scores of people at least were killed. Moreover, the Archbishop of Canterbury has said the hospital was attacked at the weekend, at least 4 civilians injured.
So the Archbishop of Canterbury said the hospital was attacked over the weekend with 4 injured. That was a Saturday attack, okay? Now we're getting into the Tuesday attack, which was much bigger.
And on Sunday, the Israelis phoned up telling everybody to evacuate. Gaza today, damage caused by an Israeli airstrike. Concrete buildings pancaked, structural collapse over a wide area, splash marks of shrapnel. Large craters are usual if the missile hits open ground as opposed to a building, like a car park.
Yeah, I know 4 injured on Saturday, no big deal, right? You hit a hospital on purpose from an Israeli airstrike, 4 injured, no big deal, right? It's only a hospital, only got 4 injured. And then the 470-something that's dead right now, whatever, because it was Hamas that did it, right? Okay, I got it. Cool.
This is what you see at the hospital today. Small craters you'd expect from a mortar strike or artillery round, not a missile. Surrounding buildings have only superficial damage, not structural collapse. Some of the windows of an adjoining church remain intact. This makes a ground-detonating Israeli missile strike unlikely, but it doesn't rule out an airburst munition, which could cause major loss of life, but would produce far less structural damage. So what then of Israel's explanation? Sensing a major problem, they worked through the night to get their version out. Press conference first thing.
Good morning, everybody.
Conclusion, a misfiring Islamic Jihad rocket caused it all.
According to our intelligence, Hamas checked the reports, understood it was an Islamic Jihad rocket that had misfired and decided to launch a global media campaign to hide what really happened.
They present what they say is 2 Hamas operatives talking about the attack.
Now, let's pause right here. Okay, so now we're getting into the IDF and their explanation of what happened. And they say they intercepted audio of 2 Hamas operatives talking about the failed rocket launch. Now, here's a question I have for you guys, and if you can answer, please let me know. If the IDF or Mossad or whoever is able to capture this audio and put it out to the public instantly, right away, about a failed rocket attack that allegedly killed 500 of their own people, then why could they not have seen the attack that was being planned for 2 years right in Gaza, right in their own? Listen, people trying to say, oh, they were meeting in public and they're using couriers. Look, 2 years, they didn't know a thing. And Gaza is right there. Mossad is one of the most famous intelligence operations in the world. They didn't know that an attack was happening. For 2 years, it was being planned. Allegedly, Egypt warned Netanyahu about what was going on. How did Egypt know what was going on, but Israel didn't? And they got Mossad. What's the Egyptian equivalent of Mossad? Huh? So I'm not really buying it. Either this is fake or they were lying about not knowing the attack was coming. I'm not buying it. It doesn't make any sense. Listen, for 2 years, you didn't get any intel about any kind of impending attack. 5,000 rockets in this little piece of land called Gaza. You control you have the water controlled. You control the land. You control the air. 5,000 rockets, munitions, guns, body armor, paragliding equipment. You didn't know a thing, but you're able to detect a phone call of 2 Hamas operatives about a failed rocket attack. Whatever. Tell me anything.
بس بقول لك أول مرة بنشوف الصاروخ زي هيك والشظايا هذه فبقول لك تبع الجهاد الصواريخ الجهاد الإسلامي.
Hamas call this an obvious fabrication. 2 independent Arab journalists told us the same thing. Because of the language, accent, dialect, syntax and tone, none of which is, they say, credible. Equally, Israel claims the Islamic Jihad failed missile was fired from here, a cemetery very close to the hospital. But look again at the video of the event. The trajectory of the missile doesn't line up with that location. Too high, too horizontal. Confusingly, the Israelis' presentation also says the missile was fired from a location down in the southwest. It can't be both.
So first they said it was right next to the hospital. Then they said it was in the southwest. Well, which one is it? Which one? I don't understand. That's not where the cemetery was at all. That's somewhere totally different. You know what I think happened? I think that there was an Israeli air raid that went wrong and they hit the hospital, or they hit it on purpose the same way they did on Saturday. That's what I think, in my opinion, because again, nobody, not one person here can refute that the hospital was hit on Saturday. The argument, the discussion, the back and forth is Tuesday, not Saturday. Okay?
Islamic Jihad say it was an Israeli missile and they have the warhead to prove it, but they haven't produced it.
I wanted to be here today.
So Joe Biden believes Israel, so does the UN. Much of the Arab world and many beyond it do not. And Israel has form when it comes to war propaganda. Its claims about not being responsible for shooting dead British filmmaker James Miller in Gaza 20 years ago were widely dismissed, not least by a British court. Israel denied shooting dead Palestinian-American photojournalist Shireen Abu Akleh last year, only to backtrack later on admitting they probably did kill her.
Yeah, maybe we did.
Just two examples from a long track record. And as we've seen, Israel has already attacked this hospital. And yesterday it's accused of bombing a UN-protected school, killing several civilians. Israel and Hamas can tweet what they like. The truth of what happened here last night requires independent, expert investigation.
That's right.
Not happening.
There it is. So there we have it. That's what's going on. That was a pretty good video that showed all sides of it. It showed what Israel said. It showed what Hamas said. It showed everything. I think that was pretty well done. Gave all the information that we have, and at the end of it, it's like, hey, draw your own conclusion. We need to have a thorough, independent, and ethical study done, not biased one way or the other, not biased against Israel, not biased for Israel, not biased against Hamas, not biased for Hamas. Something that's independent to get down to the truth. If you question these events, you are not anti-Semitic. If you question 9/11, they're talking about, the building got hit by a plane and it collapsed on its own. If you question that, doesn't mean you're anti-American. It doesn't mean you're any kind of racist. It just means you have questions about what the government tells you. Israelis often protest against their own government. So if I question their government, am I anti-Semitic? So are the Israelis who protest against their own government all the time in the street, are they anti-Semitic? Listen, shout out to the Jews, shout out to the Muslims. I'm not a racist person. I'm not a hateful person. I have questions about military business, government business. That's it. That's it, and that's all. People have been brainwashed to believe that if you question a country, Israel, and you question their governance, that means you are an anti-Semite. That's ridiculous. I question my own government. So I can question your government too. I don't care what race you are. I don't care what race, color, creed, LGBT, alien, space. I don't care about none of that. It matters not. And if that's a problem for me being able to question any country in this world, if that's a problem, then you're just in the wrong place. I can't help you. Okay? I don't question these things with any kind of racist intent in my heart. I'm not even that kind of person. Okay? Race to me, color to me is really unimportant. What's going on here is my question. And we're spending money. So it's the same thing with Ukraine. Hey, you know what? We're spending money. So can we get down to the truth? Can we get down to what happened with the 10 for the big guy, with what Hunter Biden was doing? Can we get down to what's going on with the Donbass region and the Nazis and the Azov battalion we're trying to pay? Can we get down to how we send American Nazis over there to fight with Ukrainian Nazis against the Russians, and we're paying the Ukrainians to fight the Russians? We're paying Nazis from America to fight Russians. Can we get down to the bottom of that? Am I racist for asking that question? Am I racist to ask if this attack on the hospital was done by the same government who striked it 3 days earlier and gave a warning that they were going to do it? So it wasn't even a question of whether they did or they didn't. You know, that's all. That is it. And that is all. It's real simple. You know, yeah, it's exactly NKM. The color don't matter unless I'm blaming the white man. Blame the white man. That's the only time. Hey, that's the only time that color matters to me, when I'm blaming the white man. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Yeah, it's so weird. You can't even say nothing about a particular country just because. Because what? Because why? I could talk about anybody else, but not them, not that country. And last I checked, Israel was not 100% Jewish. It's like 20% Arab, but I'm still anti-Semitic, whatever. So an Israeli can protest their own country, but when I have a problem, it's the issue. It's silly. It's not really logical, in my opinion. Now, before I continue and get to the calls, I got some video of what some are calling an insurrection on the Capitol of. Now, this is pretty funny because this group, they are actually Jewish. They are a Jewish group, and they are protesting the violence in Israel. And it's funny seeing the mainstream media call them Hamas supporters. It's like, are they Hamas supporters, or are they just protesting against the violence? You know, like, it's kind of weird. But let me go ahead and throw that on the screen right quick. All right. And let's keep on rocking.
Arresting these people. This is an insurrection. Throw these people out. What is happening? It's going to be arresting these people.
So you see what we got right there. We got Marjorie Taylor Greene saying, "Hey, we got an insurrection. Throw them out." But you know that ain't going to happen. Listen, if you are anything other than a Trump supporter, you can go to the public place called the US Capitol and do pretty much whatever you want to do. As long as you're not engaging in no violence, you could do whatever you want to do. If you're a Trump supporter going to the Capitol, well, you might get locked up. Violent or not, you might get locked up. So that's them taking the Capitol over, and the back of their shirt says, "Jews say ceasefire now." And one of their signs says, "Let Gaza live." So these are Jewish protesters. And the news said, like, they say they're Jewish. The news says they're Jewish. They're Jewish. They're Jewish protesters protesting. And they have signs. The sign right here says, "Let Gaza live." One sign says, "Philly Jews say never again is now." And I can't read this one. I can't read that one right there. But yeah, they're out there at the Capitol. And here's another one. So you see what it says? It says ceasefire and all that good stuff in the Capitol. Now look, these are mostly leftist, Jewish people protesting against the violence in Israel. And they're saying, "Free Gaza." So are they anti-Semitic? I'm just trying to like get a little bit of understanding. Okay, if you got 10,000 Jews that say "Free Gaza," are they anti-Semitic? I'm just asking the question. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Daydreamer says, "I'm Jewish and I do not call for a ceasefire." You know, that's the beauty of being a human being. Beyond your ethnicity, beyond your color, beyond your religion, you can have different opinions, right? Just because you are of a particular faith, ethnicity, or whatever does not mean you must have the same opinion as everybody else. It doesn't mean that. You can have a different opinion. You can have a different point of view, and that's totally fine. That's totally fine. All right. Rebel Reaver says there's a difference between a religious Jew, a secular Jew. Get an education on this. Didn't I just say it doesn't matter what your ethnicity is? It doesn't matter what your religion is. So when I say ethnicity, I'm talking about you being Jewish, not necessarily through religion. And then your religion, that's what you practice. You could be a practicing Jew even without being Jewish, like Amari Stoudemire, people like this. People like, who else? Trump's daughter, Ivanka, who is a religious Jew, but is not Jewish by blood, obviously, because that's not how that works. All right. Judaism passes through the mother. I'm very educated about this whole thing. Don't do that, sir. Don't do that. Let's not do that. I understand the whole thing very well. I understand how Drake is Jewish because his mom, Sandy, is Jewish and his father is black. If it was the other way around, he would not be Jewish, although he's biracial because his mom is Jewish and so is he. And he'd be considered a secular Jew because he's not practicing Judaism. He's just Jewish by blood. Anyway, Lador Vador, how about that? Shout out to the Yiddish language. Let's keep on rocking and rolling. We got super chats on deck. Then we're going to get into some calls. The call should be pretty good tonight. The number to call, 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. We're going to get into some of those in a minute. Let's get to the supers. Shout out to Michael who says, and that is what millions of people voted for. That's supposed to be a better man than Donald Trump. Hashtag FJB. That gets in Matthew who says, Jim Jordan will need to guarantee Ukraine money and scuttle the weaponization committee that he chairs or no go. Hashtag Mr. Coffee. That gets in Michael again who says, are we supposed to have the Build Back Better by now? When is that supposed to start? That's a great question. Glad you asked. I have no answer. Shout out to my sites who says prayers and push-ups. Hope things turn out well, but everything this administration touches turns to styrofoam. Thank you to the Brooklyn Way who says, here come the Henny Jenny. Shout out to Lou Maldonado who says, sir, love you, hospital. I'm not sure what you're trying to say right there, but shout out to you for the super chat. Definitely appreciate you. All right, time for the calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. And there's also an email for Skype that'll be right there in the description. You could be in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen talking about whatever's on your mind that's somewhat on topic, and we can go ahead and do things that way. All righty. So let's keep on rocking and rolling here. 915 you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, it's Steve from El Paso.
All righty, man. What's going on?
Hi, I'm listening to your segment, and I'm not sure what I'm listening to what you're saying, but I don't see what the confusion is as far as this being a fight between good and evil.
I mean, I don't really see things that way necessarily. I'm looking at it like you have a country fighting like a civil war, basically. That's what I'm looking at.
Right.
I mean,
go ahead.
Right.
So Israel has different nations damn near within its own borders. It has Gaza in the southwest, and it has the Fatah government in the West Bank.
Right.
They call it the West Bank, but it's in the eastern part of the country. So those are two separate governance. So Fatah is actually organic Palestinian. Hamas, which governs Gaza, is pretty much controlled by Qatar and Turkey, the Muslim Brotherhood. So when Hamas starts, breaching the borders, the walls, the same walls we try to build, and then they go and murder innocents, it's I don't see how you juxtapose Israelis and Hamas militants at that point.
I mean, I'm not understanding because has Israel not done anything wrong in this whole situation ever since, there's been like 1948, there's been no wrongdoing from Israel?
I mean, if you can name some incidents, I'll be happy to, respond to.
I mean, let's talk about West Bank, the illegal settlements.
Yeah, so my question is, and I appreciate the conversation, by the way.
No problem.
Is it illegal if you engage in a war like the 1967 war, and then like you got an entire Middle Eastern coalition that attacks at the same time, and then you defeat them, and then you gain new territory, and then fortify your position? I mean, is that a war crime, or is that the spoils of war?
I mean, that could be the spoils of war, but that doesn't mean that it's not illegal to settle in the West Bank. That's their laws they have over there. So that's not really something I'm saying. That's whatever agreement they have, that's what they have over there. And they say it's illegal to have settlements in the West Bank. So that's what they say.
Yeah, and then my next question is, who's they, though? Are we talking about the UN? Because we know who controls the UN.
Who?
Not the U.S. and not the West. The UN is dominated by the ops, the BRICS, the Brazil, Russia, India, and China, and those are the powerhouses that dominate and control the UN, as well as the OIC, Organization of the Islamic Cooperation. You got 57 countries with a Muslim population of 50% or more of the country that form the Organization of the Islamic Cooperation. So you got when you talk of the UN, you have the West, and then you have the non-aligned movement, and we're talking about the non-aligned movement here that it controls the UN and the Human Rights Council, which we all know is a joke. When you have 55 human rights violations annually, and all 50 out of 55 go directly to Israel and no other country, despite all the other genocides happening, the UN is like a joke at that point, designed to, encircle and, oppose Israel.
Okay, we can just move away from the settlement issue. Let's talk about Gaza specifically, how you have Hamas attacking Israelis, but as a result, Israel is saying, we're not going to allow you guys to have food and water to get imported into the country. So now we're talking about regular civilians, but 2.3 million of them that don't have access to food and water. You got half the population, their children, who don't have anything to do with the particular conflict. So would that be a good thing to do, to starve out kids because of what Hamas did? Hamas was elected also by the people, but it wasn't everybody. So not everybody supports Hamas in Gaza, nor does everybody who voted for them support what they're doing. Also, wasn't it Israel and the U.S. who supported Hamas and got them to be elected?
Two things. So, one, you're 100% right that Gaza did get elected. The percentage is, as far as I know, is overwhelmingly Palestinian. The majority of Gaza voted Hamas to govern. But I'm not tracking U.S. and Israel supporting Hamas, because I know the U.S. supported Fatah, because Fatah is the legacy party of Yasser Arafat. You're talking Palestinian enlightenment, pan-Arabism. Sorry, I had to cycle through my acronyms, but Yasser Arafat was a pan-Arabist. He wasn't as much of an Islamist. Hamas is Muslim Brotherhood, so definitely Israel did not support Gaza, Hamas being elected in Gaza. Israel did not support Hamas being elected in Gaza, and the U.S., if they supported anybody, was Fatah and the PLO against Hamas. So Hamas is entirely supported by the Sunni Gulf Arab states that are Islamists, mainly Turkey and Qatar, and maybe Saudi Arabia, but that's who backs Hamas.
Okay, so now the next question was the food and water. Is that an okay thing to do for Israel to cut off the food and water supply? And I'm talking about like shipments coming in from Egypt and the Mediterranean. They're cutting that off. Is that okay?
So Israel is blockading the coastal border in the Mediterranean. I'm not tracking Israel blocking the border entry between Gaza and Egypt through the Sinai. So as far as I know, that's entirely Egypt and not Morsi. It's the other guy, Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, who governs or who, is the prime minister of Egypt or president, whatever they call it. But that's not Israel controlling that port of entry. That's Egypt. So unless I'm mistaken, I mean, Israel is entirely, blockading the Mediterranean because they're trying to keep weapon shipments from Iran or other countries.
But also food and water. Like right. That's what I want to focus on, the food and water, because we get, a lot of kids in Gaza. That's half population in Gaza is children under the age of 18. So is that okay to block the food and water from them? I mean, I don't think they're going to be the combatants, really, the kids. So should they suffer because of what Hamas did, not being able to get access to food and water?
No, they should not, but I don't think that's Israel that's blocking that. I think that's Egypt, like I was saying. Like, they're blocking the coastal, the water deliveries, but not the border entry in the southwest. Unless I'm mistaken, but as far as I know, that's Egypt that controls the Rafah border point of entry.
Right on. Well, it's been a good conversation, but I got a lot of calls on the line I want to get to, man. Thank you for your call, and I appreciate you a lot.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate what you do. Thank you much.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
All right, shout out to my man for the call. I was reading some of the comments. We were talking about you moving on because you don't have any answers. Well, I can't just harp on a particular question for a long time because we got time constraints. It's called running the show. Try it one day. Let's keep on going. All righty, Matt, what's going on?
Anthony, what's good?
It's all good, man. Can't complain.
Man, I remember reading your chat a while back when I said something. I was talking about how people believe certain stuff on your show. And, for example, like the myth that the Israelites were ever slaves in the Sinai Peninsula or anywhere in Egypt and ever went to see the Pharaoh. There's just a lot of long-standing beliefs that are low information, that don't have any historical bearing whatsoever. And it makes a lot of these beliefs like pervasive. And it really annoys the hell out of me personally when people will try to get smart on the Israeli-Palestinian situation when they don't even know basic stuff in the United States. And this whole thing is a diversion that is absolutely designed, by and large, to destroy this country. And I think you started to nail it when you said, hey, the southern border is completely open, and we're talking about Israel. And if before that, we were talking about Ukraine. And I don't want to get smart on either one of these things on purpose. I probably know more about it than the average person, and that's all by accident, and it really does annoy me. What do you think about that? Don't you think that this is just a big diversion? We don't even have a Speaker of the House right now, and this is the death rattle of this country.
Yeah, I think we got a lot of things happening. Now they're trying to talk about Taiwan, because I noticed, I was reading an article about the funding they're trying to give to Israel and Ukraine. They also said Taiwan. I was like, oh, okay. So now we want to get into that one. That's going to be the next thing we do. So I see what's going on here.
Yeah. And my comment, like, this guy's like, well, what did Israel ever do wrong? They shot the hell out of the USS Liberty. They killed a bunch of American servicemen in a time of war. And that's a great example of what they did. There was zero accountability for that. And I don't hold a candle for Palestine. I don't carry water for Israel. They didn't send anybody. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, this is exactly like 9/11," except it's just happened to them. Well, I don't remember Israel sending any troops on 9/11. I was there. I mean, I was deployed to the Middle East. I fought for people who would never fight for us, and I'm sick and tired of it. Jim Jordan, this whole thing is absolutely over Ukraine money. If the money doesn't go to Ukraine, then there will be an attack on us in order to get us into the fray. I mean, if you look at like World War I, World War II, I mean, even the Nazis took out full-page ads in the paper. What was it, the Lusitania? They're saying, don't get on this ship. You know, it's a merchant marine vessel. We will destroy it if that vessel comes out here. They took full page ads in New York Times. Madison Square Garden, they filled it to the brim. The Nazis did. They had effigies of George Washington standing over swastikas. You know, and this is all us Americans, and I'm talking about the 1940s. This is all us Americans basically meddling in other people's business and not even knowing what the hell we're doing here at home. I'll leave the last thoughts to you, man. You're having a great show, but hopefully Jim Jordan gets nominated and selected Speaker of the House.
Right on, man. Thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
Be good.
All right, shout out to Matt. Great call. Great call so far. Shout out to you guys. I'm loving it. All right, let's keep on rocking and rolling. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. A lot of smart guys. A lot of smart guys and girls calling in. I appreciate y'all a lot. Absolutely. Excuse me. 864 on line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, this is Turk from Greenville, South Carolina. When you were talking about property prices, homeowners, that?
Yes.
Well, I moved up here in 2002 from Hilton Head, and I had a 700 square foot half a duplex that was built in 1972. And when I moved up here, I sold it for $80,000. I went on and check to see what they were going for, $250,000.
Wow.
And 700 square feet made in 1971. They were employee housing for back then. So like you were saying earlier, you could buy something nice here, you know, Greenville, around, you know, this area. But it's unbelievable how much property is for down there too. You know, like you were talking about California, New York, and all that.
Oh yeah.
You know, but we're having a great Halloween party. My two aliens that are living here, that doing all kinds of housework, they invited Bigfoot. He's coming too. So we're gonna have a big party come Christmas. I love the show today. That was really good. It was excellent tonight.
Well, thank you for that, man.
I will hang up and listen to you. Talk to you later. Bye.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate you. All right, shout out to the caller. And shout out to you guys for being here. Could not do the show without you. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. Yeah, this tax money is crazy. The tax money be given away. And it's not even necessarily tax money. It's inflation. We're giving away, we're creating debt and then giving the money from the debt away. We can't even create the debt and utilize the debt. We got to create a debt and then give it away to other foreign nations. For what though? Like, what is the purpose of giving all our money away to all these foreign nations? It's a big crazy mess. It's a crazy mess here. All right. Yeah, but the housing market is off the chain right now. It's all over the place. I mean, everything is just through the roof at the moment. 470, you know line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, you may cut me, man, but I'm going to wrap this chain around your head.
ABL. Hey, it's Craig from Wild and Wacky LA. How you doing, sir?
Oh, well, man. How about yourself?
Pretty good. Wow. A lot going on. This is crazy, man. I'm following a lot what's going on in Israel. This is terrible.
Yeah,
you know,
it's really crazy.
All the support from the left coming from a place of hate for the Israelis and the Jews. It's amazing. In a terrible way, you know. But it doesn't surprise me at the same time. Anything they can do to be against America, you know.
Right on.
So, yeah, I support Israel. I really feel sorry for what's going on. And all this stuff about gas to Jews come from Australia. These protests. It's terrible.
Yeah, that's really just uncalled for.
Yeah, I mean, why do we have to revert back to what the Nazis did, you know, in the 30s and 40s? You know, this is terrible.
Yeah, we shouldn't be doing that, not at all.
No, not at all. So, I don't know. I support Israel. I really do. But I'm really afraid that we're going to send too much money there. we're already fighting pretty much a two-front war financially with Ukraine and Israel. I mean, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah,
what do we do?
Yeah, we need to just not be so involved with foreign conflict. People have their connections to some of these countries. They may feel a certain way, obligated at a certain point, but I mean, we're just spending too much money that we don't have. We're trillions upon trillions in debt. So at a certain point, it's like we cannot afford to do this. Even if people want to do it, they might feel like it's in their heart to do it. We can't afford it. It's just not, the money's not there. We can't even afford to pay our own bills, let alone pay bills for other people.
Exactly. There has to come a point where we have to say, no, we care, really do, but there's only so much we can do at this point. Yeah, Biden getting us into this terrible inflation the past 2.5 years or more. All the money going to Ukraine, $113 billion as of a month ago, we spent going over there. It's just too much. We have to look after America.
Absolutely.
I'm really sorry for what's going over there. I side with Israel and the Jews. I'm not an anti-Semite by any means, but enough's enough. I'm sorry. We have to cut it off.
Right on.
So, what do we do? I mean, can we? Well, we can just private funds. If you want to send money over there yourself, go for it. But,
absolutely. If you want,
as far as government funding is concerned, I'd say no. I'm sorry, we can't afford it.
Right.
If you want
if you want to give to charity, then by all means, that's your prerogative. You could do whatever you want with your money. But when it comes to taxpayer money, when it comes to printing money, when it comes to creating more debt, it's going to be put on our backs and our children's backs and their grandchildren's backs. I just don't see how that's a good thing to do.
Yeah, I would like to point out one thing. As I've told you before, we've talked about the Holocaust and the Nazis and everything over the past 6 to 8 months or whatever. I've visited 8 concentration camps between 3 different countries in Europe and 1 forced labor camp for the Nazis. And one thing that really struck me was the blue dye that I saw on the walls of Stutthof concentration camp in Poland, which used to be in Germany, in Stutthof.
Mm.
And that was called that was from the Zyklon B.
Okay.
Did you know that?
No.
They left stains on the wall 80 years later.
Wow, that's pretty crazy.
I saw that myself.
Right.
Yeah, I saw the Stutthof concentration camp in Poland. So these people act like this is no big deal, like, oh, gas the Jews, gas the Jews. No, I saw this with my own eyes. I went to Auschwitz, and I saw it was in the gas chamber. And I've seen all terrible things there. Gas the Jews, all this horrible anti-Semitism is terrible. These people don't know what they're talking about. They don't care because these people the Hamas is not coming for their family, their parents, their friends. And it's just horrible. I stand with Israel and the Jews. That's all I want to say. Trump 2024, America first.
Right on, man. Thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, man. Thank you very much. Take care. Thanks. Bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Most certainly appreciate him. Let's keep on rocking and rolling. 530, you know, who am I speaking to?
Oh my gosh. My name is Ellen. Can I just say one thing and then I'll hang up? I know you've got a lot of callers. That group that Marjorie Taylor Greene called insurrectionists, they are anti-Israel group. That Noam Chomsky, who they're leftists. They're anti-Israel, and I imagine they're anti-American too. They're kind of a socialist group. So I want to think that you should be considering them as being really representing Jewish people. That's all I wanted to say. And thank you for answering my call. Bye-bye.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate you. All right. Shout out to her. Some information right there. Let's keep on rocking here. Let's go to 504. Don't allow who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL. It's Alien Spaceship.
All righty, man. What's going on?
All right. So, earlier in my garden, I was picking some lima beans. It was a nice day. And also, shout out to the callers and the different thoughts. It's a very interesting conversation. So, yeah, I think that this, war is a terrible crisis. And of course, in America, we have a terrible crisis. And like I was saying in chat earlier, we're printing so much money, the machines are going to get broken soon.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, what I think is interesting with the Jewish people is that I believe the history is true about them, that they were that they survived the Egyptians, the Romans, the Nazis, and also things from the Soviet Union. I think that is interesting, and that they did go to, Israel, that land that God allowed that to happen. And also, I will say that it's unfortunate with the war, of course, and I don't want to see, Palestinians or Israelis getting hurt. And basically, that's some of the history about it. And also that Israel, that's Isaac, and Abraham's other kid, Ishmael, he was the Arab one, the one that the Arabs are related to. So there's a split because Hagar was the one that they thought the promised child would come from. But then later on, Sarah, Abraham's wife, she had the kid Isaac. So this is where this conflict comes from. And they, populated that whole area. And that's where this, conflict is coming from that time.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah. And also, I think, in my opinion, from things that I've heard and seen, is that I do want to do more, research on it because it's just my opinion. I'm not going to say necessarily you were incorrect, but I do think it was likely a not Gaza, with the terrorist rocket that was going into Israel and it accidentally hit the hospital. But, it could be possible the other way around, but it's something interesting I want to see more information come out about.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. And also, I think that the situation would be concerning about, if any of the extremists that came through the border would try to go do something here because of all the stuff that's going on in our country supporting it over there.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a problem because you have all kind of people coming across the border. They think the average person may just think that it's just Mexican, but no. I was showing some videos on the live stream of people being interviewed about, hey, where you coming from? And nobody said Mexico. They said all over the world except Mexico. They said India. There were some guys from Syria, all over the place. So you're going to have bad people that may mean this nation harm that come into the country when there's no border security.
Oh, exactly. And also, I remember when I was watching some streamers were talking about it, and there's these people coming in from all over the place, as you said, all over the world. I wonder what they're trying to come over here for, though. I don't know why all these countries are sending people here.
Hey, you never know. It could be a lot of different reasons. It could be some money. It could be something else.
Right. And obviously, all these woke people that hate our country, it's all these people wouldn't be coming here if it was such a terrible place.
That's right. Absolutely.
Right. And an interesting thing earlier you showed about a kid having a tattoo and they can't consent. And then but they can consent to change their gender, which is a completely life-altering, changing situation. I think, those leftists are so brainwashed.
Yeah, it's really crazy. Absolutely.
Right. And also, that is all I have to say for this call. Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Okay, bye.
All right. Great call. Shout out to my man for the call. Let's keep on rocking and rolling. 904 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, how you doing, ABL? This is Nikki. I was calling because one thing I've noticed a lot is I'm on Twitter a lot, especially because of the Israel-Gaza stuff going on. And I've seen so much what I would call propaganda and people making up false information. If you remember the picture with the burnt up hand or something like that, and somebody turned it into a picture of a dog, and then it turned out that it was somebody AI generating an image of that burned hand image. And then today, I believe there was another one. Well, it wasn't today. It was about the bombing, and and the baby beheadings and stuff like that. I don't know. I just see a lot of like false information on Twitter. I don't know what to believe anymore. And I wonder if you have the same issue when you're going through Twitter and trying to see what's going on.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of fake stuff out there for sure. That's definitely an issue.
Yeah, and then people are getting in trouble for like retweeting things that may have been false and things like that. And it's like, I don't know what to believe anymore, man. But I was curious, what do you do for your number one source of getting information that you trust?
Well, really, I mean, it depends on the situation. It depends on what's going on. So, for instance, in this situation here with Israel, I look everywhere. I look in sometimes small foreign outlets, mainstream media, independent media. I look everywhere. And then I don't just look at one story, meaning, okay, so you have one incident that may happen, just like the whole thing with the Tuesday alleged attack, where they said it was a bomb that fell and it wasn't really a dead-on attack. I didn't just look at that one attack and what happened. I look at, okay, what happened before that? A week before, 2 weeks before? Was there any other attacks?
Right.
I look at everything, do like an investigation kind of a little bit to get a fuller, I kind of zoom out and look at the whole thing and to see what's going on. That is kind of how I figure out what's happening and form an opinion. If I cannot find the actual facts, like, okay, this definitely happened, I can just grab some facts and then put an opinion together. And then I could just report that as my opinion. But then when it comes to actual facts, like how they bombed the hospital on Saturday, I was able to find actual information from some kind of obscure but more local, direct to the ground sources. And I was able to just kind of verify all those sources and get the story.
Yeah, that's a good point. Look as many places as possible. And it's a good point you made about stating that you're giving an opinion rather than facts, because sometimes you got to wait a couple days for the facts to come out. And it's just like with the bombing. I remember now, people were saying that the hospital itself got bombed, but then that turned out to be false, and it ended up just being the parking lot. And it was like, okay, well, nobody really knew that until somebody live on the ground was sharing video of the hospital. And an interesting source that I sometimes use to look up things is I'll go on Snapchat, and they have that map feature where you can go zoom in and see what's happening in different parts of the world. And it's interesting, some of the videos you can find on Snapchat, if you've never tried that out before, of looking around in that area, seeing what kind of posts have been put up in the last day or so.
Well, that's a good idea for sure.
Another interesting thing is you could see people just living their everyday life as if nothing's going on, and it's kind of crazy to think that that's happening while all this other stuff's happening. But I'll let you go, man. Thanks for telling me about what resources you use. Appreciate you.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to name specific sources because it just depends on what's going on. Like, for example, I'm reading the comment right there. I'm going to talk about him, but someone says Cat Ferris right here says he's not going to name specific sources. Well, it just depends. Like, what happened with the hospital, I was able to find the church's website that runs the hospital, and they put up like a fundraising thing because they had an attack that happened on Saturday. That's a news source right there. So I wouldn't tell you for something that happened in Taiwan to go to the Anglican church website in Gaza. Doesn't make any sense. Sometimes a news source may not be a news aggregate site. It may just be where you're able to find information. You see what I'm saying? So that's kind of what that is. Like, and sometimes the best information comes from local sources. So a local source is not going to be a good source for everything. If something happens in Norfolk, Virginia, I'm going to say go to the local news website to see what's going on, because they're going to have guys on the ground right there in Norfolk to see what's happening. I wouldn't tell you to go to the Norfolk Wavy TV 10 website to find things that are going on in Ukraine. That isn't, you see what I'm saying? Let's keep on going. 973, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, good evening. Hi, ABL. How are you?
I'm doing well. About yourself?
I'm doing so good. So, check this out. So, I heard when you were talking about the cutoff point, when I guess Netanyahu decided to cut off the electricity, the water, the food, etc. Right? So the people in Gaza cannot get access to these things anymore. Here's what I think, ABL, right? When I bought a bag of apples one time from the supermarket, I saw one or two apples that were rotten. I saw some mold on them, right? But the rest of the apples were fine. Do you know what I did with that bag of apples? I threw the entire bag in the garbage. Me personally, I threw it out. Why? Because I feel like because those two apples that were contaminated were in contact with the rest of the apples that were good, I threw everything out. The point I'm trying to make to you is that I see what you're saying when you say, okay, is it right to cut off food, water, electricity to the other Gazans that are there? I understand that point, but I think what's happening is Netanyahu is seeing, right, the repercussions that are happening due to this war. And so because of this, ABL, the good have to suffer with the bad. So because of these people who have attacked Israel, right, and all the atrocities that are happening, and more bombings are happening, more and more people are dying, Netanyahu has decided to cut off everything. And so now the good people, the innocent people, have to suffer with the bad. You get what I'm saying?
I understand what you're trying to tell me, but I don't agree. But go ahead.
No, I know you don't agree. It's all right. I know you don't agree, but because I just heard what you said, and I see what you're saying. Innocent people, there are innocent people there. You know, what about the innocent? How are they going to survive? How are they going to get this and that and all of that? I think the other side, the flip side to this is Netanyahu is just trying to take away just everything because the killings, I guess, were so bad. It was so horrendous that he's cutting it off. Hey, listen, I don't know the real reasons, why. I'm not sure, but I guess what I'm trying to tell you, the point of my call, ABL, is to show you, just to express to you both sides. I guess I can kind of see both sides, and in life, period, things like that happen where the good suffer with the bad. It's unfortunate. It's very, very unfortunate. Very, but I guess that's how life kind of is, and it sucks,
Well, I heard your viewpoint.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, that's all I wanted to say. Let's continue to pray for peace, and I will continue to pray for Israel and ABL. As I always say, I've been supporting you for a long time and will continue to do so. So you have an amazing evening.
Well, thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
You too. Okay. Bye-bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller and shout out to you guys as well. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. All righty. So shout out to you guys. Good calls, all good calls tonight. And I appreciate everybody's opinion for sure. All right. Excuse me. Somebody in the comments called me a bleeding heart liberal. You wish. You wish. Let's keep on rocking. 510, you don't know who I'm speaking to.
0. All righty. So shout out to you guys.
Gordon.
Good calls, all good calls.
All right. I need
How's
to turn
it going, man?
Everything's well. Can you turn the stream down in the background for me?
Yeah, I got. I just wanted to say this. That last caller was awesome. That's a woman of solid mind and spirit right there. You might not agree with her, but I believe what she's saying is true. It's like now look at this. Like, what's going on in this country here is over the last, since the Biden took over thing, and it's like they're using the same. No, I'm not saying this about Israel or anything like that. I don't want anything to do with it, all that stuff. I mean, I wish there was peace over there. I don't believe in religion and all that stuff, and I think, but religion's got them into that thing, and hopefully their religions will get them out, whatever, But now the thing is, like, what the Bidens, since the Democrats are doing it, they're playing the same Nazi playbook as what's the same. Everything's coming out of the same playbook as the Nazis with I lost my train of thought. The censorship and all that shit. It's like, I'm sorry, I don't mean to curse, but censorship, they're trying to take our rights away, all that stuff. They're taking our tax money. They're starving us half to death. And I'm in the Bay Area of California here, and it's like, it really sucks because the gas prices are extreme, and it's horrible. And there's still people that are going to vote for these Democrats. They don't know, and these same people they're siding with the Palestinians in this war. Could you help me out here, ABL? Because I need some kind of a dialogue here.
I'm just listening to you talk. So, okay, I have a question. How does what you're saying relate to what the previous caller was saying?
Well, I kind of like what she was saying about, she just wants peace, amongst the people. You didn't agree with her on a certain aspect of I guess are you pro? You're like pro.
I'm not picking any
Israel.
sides. I'm not picking the sides on it. I'm not Jewish. I'm not Israeli. I'm not Palestinian. I'm not going to pick no sides. That's like gang warfare. I'm not interested in that. I'm just looking at the truth about what's going on. Now, my thing I disagreed with was the whole thing about the bad apples, and sometimes you gotta throw everybody out. I don't believe in killing innocent people because of what terrorists do. I don't believe in that, and I've never believed in that. I didn't believe in it when you're talking about Barack Obama drone striking civilians or anybody else. This is part of the reason why I voted for Donald Trump, because he was a guy that was not for the foreign intervention, foreign wars, killing random people in other cities and other countries around the world because of some kind of freedom and democracy we trying to impose on them. I don't like that. So I'm going to stay consistent on that regardless of who it is, where it is. I don't care. I'll be the same. So that was the point I disagreed with.
But I kind of got that from her, So how could you not agree with her?
Like,
she was just kind of like she was. Go ahead.
Nah, so go ahead. You could explain.
Well, she was explaining the same thing you're explaining, pretty much.
Well, she said to throw out all the apple was the bad, and she was saying that the good must suffer with the bad because of what the bad did. I don't believe in that, so we do not agree on that.
Okay, now I see what you're saying. Yeah, because basically she was saying that what I get from this now, it's that Israel is, they got them all in this corral, basically, and they're just pushing people around so they want to get boots on the ground, whatever. So they tell them to go to the south. They're going to clear the north. Then they're going to tell them to go. They're going to keep herding them around like cattle. But the Hamas is going to try to keep these people as human shields. That's what she was saying, and it's not right, That's not right for Hamas to do that. I mean, the whole thing is fucked up. Maybe, I'm sorry about the language, but the whole thing is screwed up, But what is anybody going to do to fix it? There's nothing that can be done. This has been going on for, since the book was written, right?
The best way to go about this as a country, as the United States, is to stay out of it. That's why going back to what I said,
I agree.
I voted for Trump because he wasn't into all this intervention.
Yep.
So rather than us trying to figure out what we're going to do and what we're not going to be in it. Whatever they got going on, let them handle it. That's not our business. But thank you for your call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Right on, man. Thank you.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Let's keep on rocking and rolling here. 215, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, hey, ABL. How's it going?
Everything's all right, man. About yourself?
Oh, jeez. Hold on. All right. Yeah, all right. So you can hear me loud and clear now?
I heard you well.
Good. I had to turn the stream off in the background. I had to turn it down. So basically, I'm not gonna make this long. It's like what happened with back in. I know I don't mean to get off subject, but it's crazy because it's been 3 years since the George Floyd thing happened, and it's like I feel like that's like because I wasn't into politics like 3 years ago. Like I was never into politics, but it's like I never trusted the mainstream media. I never always took their word for it because I always to generate a lot of stories, try to make them hype them up, make them sound a lot more juicier than they really are to generate ratings. They have at least a long, good history of doing that, misreporting stories, and to make it sound like something that it isn't. And so I've never always trusted the mainstream media. I've always been like that. And then when the George Floyd thing happened, I started looking into it, and that's when I came across Candace Owens. Then I came across Brandon Tatum. Then I found your channel and a whole bunch of other conservatives, and that's what made me start. Then I started following the election because when COVID-19 first broke out, like I don't want to say too much, but I felt like it has. I was like, what? Something. My instincts kept telling me like, why does it have something to do with the election? I said, oh yeah, it's 2020 as an election. Mind you, at that time I didn't know what a Republican was. I didn't even know what a Democrat was. I was like, what is a Republican? What is a Democrat? But mind you, 6 months of watching videos, looking into it, doing research, just watching videos, not even doing much reading unless somebody referred me to some, but just watching so many conservative videos for like 6 months straight. I was like, oh, okay. So now we know who the party of slavery was. It was the Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy because I knew Joe Biden wasn't going to be a good candidate, to be honest with you, because I watched both campaigns, both rallies, and everything that Trump was saying was actually making a lot of sense. And I was like, okay, well, I agree with a lot of stuff he's saying. Joe Biden, it was just always, mostly Barack Obama was campaigning for him. It was all, Joe Biden was always, Donald Trump this, Donald Trump that, take down Trump, take down Trump. Most of his campaign, that's all I heard coming out of his mouth. I was like, nah. Because it's like, you want us to like focus on that person, and you're not telling us what your plans are. Besides the fake student loan debt that he said he's going to get rid of, and come to find out, can't even get that passed, can't get rid of that. So that wound up failing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and last but not least, so I'm waiting to see what's going to happen in 2024 because 2022, that not really much happened with that. So I was like, that was kind of a disappointment. A little bit of a shocker, but mostly a disappointment. So I'm just waiting to see what happens in 2024. And I'm still keeping update about this the Hamas and Israel war that's going on right now. The latest attacks. See if they manage to get back the hostages. Just still keeping update and doing my own research because I can't rely on everybody.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah, can't believe everything you hear and read. But thanks for taking my call, ABL.
Thanks for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, have a good one.
Same to you. All right, shout out to the caller. Great call. Let's keep on rocking and rolling here. 863, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
I'm waiting to see what's going to happen.
Hi, ABL.
It's me. Can you hear me?
Who is it? I'm sorry.
This is me. It's ABL.
Oh, hi. I'm sorry. I couldn't hear you.
All righty, but can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly.
All righty, what's going on?
I just wanted to make a comment about the previous commenters or callers. I'm sorry. They were talking about they want peace, for the world, and you know, whatnot. But I don't see that ever happening. There's a benefit behind wars, and that's what what I believe. And U.S., you know, we're like in the middle. We got the West, which is, you know, the Western, and then we got also Taiwan with China. So we're like always in the middle, and we always will be in the middle. And I just wanted to comment on that. There will never be peace, sadly. Like right now, Biden wants to spend $100 billion, right? And part of it goes to the war. But, you know, this is just the thing that we can't fight the establishment. It's going to be really hard for us to basically make back that money. I don't know. It's just going to be very hard for the next president that, you know, in 2024 to, you know, fix America. I just hope for the best, you know.
Absolutely. I agree.
Yeah, but I think seriously we should mind our own business, you know, because it's just gonna get worse. I don't know. I'm hoping it gets better, but I don't know. So,
yeah, it's gonna be.
That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you for your call. I definitely appreciate you.
All right, thank you. Bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. Yeah, it's gonna be rough for whoever's gonna be the next president. You know, if it's Trump again, he's gonna have a lot of heavy lifting to do. So it's gonna be rough. And your man definitely not gonna be able to make it. The other guy, he's not gonna make it. 470, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, peace, ABL is V, man. How you doing today, brother?
Everything's good, man. What's going on?
Look, man, another wonderful show yet again. I hate to be this guy that, like, I was reading the comments when people are being more balanced in their mind, as far as, like you're saying, I'm not here to give a positive to one. I take no sides in the fight. It's like people can't get past the fact that you're being flooded and inundated with pro-Israel propaganda and everything U.S. because we always support them. They always get our aid. And I just find it very, very interesting that when you speak your mind on it, right? Like I was noticing on Twitter, I follow you on Twitter. It's like people just start coming at you. And all you're trying to say is, hey, look, these people more than likely bombed this place yesterday because they bombed it on Saturday and it was known. And I don't know how you can stomach such, I don't want to use the word arrogance, but maybe the word blindness might work in that sense. But I just want to tip my hat off to you for that, just because it's no American is winning in this conflict. This is not something for America. This is not something in which, if either side wins, there's no benefit to us in the short term. Maybe in the long term, it might change the balance of power, regional homogeny, something along those lines. But as it sits right now, there are much more pressing issues that we should be focusing on. And it's just so interesting how quickly that the focus changes, speaking on a media perspective, whenever Israel is involved. That's all I got to say, brother.
Thank you for your call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to the caller. Right on point. Right on point. And you guys are the best audience anywhere on these internets. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. And don't be hating on me, Kelly. Don't be hating. I see you in the comments. All right. And I had 773. I got you, boss. Come on back. 773 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
ABL, it's your retired Chicago police officer friend. Thanks for taking my call.
No problem.
ABL, I thought some of the things that you have said have been right on the money. And also, ABL, we are in an entirely different ball game now. We have missed our window of opportunity around the world to deal with things diplomatically. Here's the thing. When Trump was president, We weren't in a war. You know, the foreign affairs was under control. We weren't in the Ukraine. We had Afghanistan under control, even though we were withdrawing. We were withdrawing in the proper way in order for our best interest. He stopped giving money to other countries that can take care of themselves. Do you realize that we gave, I believe, $1.6 billion to Iran and then asked them, please use it for humanitarian reasons? And they said to us, we're going to use it the way we want.
Yep.
Why are we giving? It's like being on welfare and getting food stamps and telling the government, I'm going to use my food stamp money any way I want. I want to buy cigarettes with it, and that's what I'm going to do. You know, once you give somebody cash, especially a country, of course they're gonna do what they want with it. They're not our friends. We try to have a peaceful coexistence if we can, and a lot of times that means military actions and whatnot, but not a full out war like this. Look at how Biden was speaking. He looks weak to the world. And I know I'm a broken record on this weakness thing, but it shows the unrest that happens. Also, it shows that the people in power in the U.S. right now, which are the Democrats, but really they're the left, because there are a lot of Democrats that have some common sense that also don't go for what the left goes for. I mean, the whole thing with the trans thing, you could be trans, but not with our children. Leave the children alone. And I understand why they do that with the trans thing, ABL. It's because they made a decision to change their gender when they were adults. And they've told themselves, oh, if I didn't, if I had puberty blockers, I wouldn't have to go through all this plastic surgery to look like a woman or to look like a man. I would have softer features. I could at least pass and everything else. They want to save that torment for people like them. But here's what happens when you do that is, you bring, once you open that gate, you bring in people that never belong there. You might bring in people that never were supposed to change their gender. They just were brainwashed or they were confused. You bring in people that were meant to be gay. You're changing people's, biology. That's what you're trying to do artificially with drugs, change a person's biology, and years later they might regret it. Just leave them alone. When they're adults, they can do what they want, and they could go through the turmoil that you did, because it is a big thing to not think that you're part, that you're the gender that you are. It's obviously some kind of mental disease or malfunction or whatever. You don't hurt anybody, do what you want. But back to the whole, Israeli thing and all that, I see both sides, ABO. We try not to, to have some kind, keep things at rest, even in the police department. You have to try to keep people under control, living peacefully, not, shooting back and forth and killing each other like they are. But once you don't understand the effect of strength, peace through strength, having strength, it gets out of control, and the insane take over the asylum. And that's what happened. Look at the state of the world since Biden has come in. Look at the state of the world. It's like having a substitute teacher and the class has gone wild. It's going to take a lot for whoever becomes president to straighten this out, because once it's down the tubes, now it's a whole different story, and now we have to start doing something different. We can't use diplomacy anymore. There's going to be a war. They're already at war in Israel, and that's a dangerous place because there's nuclear weapons and everything else. You never know where this leads. So it's very concerning. But thanks for taking my call, ABL, and I appreciate it, and I hope I wasn't too long-winded, and I'll talk to you later.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Thanks, ABL.
All right, great call. Great way to wrap up the show. Thank y'all for being here yet again. I most certainly appreciate y'all. If you could not get on tonight, I'm sorry. Don't blame me. Blame the white man. You know it's not my fault. But I'll be back live again on Saturday from 8 p.m. Eastern. So right around right now, 11 p.m. Eastern. This is also a podcast you're listening to. It'll be available on your favorite audio streaming platforms, whether that be Google Play, Spotify, Apple iTunes, etc. Link for that will be in the description box, or just go to your favorite audio streaming platform and search ABL Live. I should pop right on up, and this will be available at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning Eastern Standard Time. Alrighty, so I see you in the chat, Les. When am I doing my next IG Live? That's a good question. I'm not really sure. You know what? I might do one tomorrow, because you know what? I was thinking about doing one recently. I just didn't do it. I thought about doing it. It was kind of late. It was like 12 midnight. It was kind of late. So maybe tomorrow. That might be a good time. Was that Thursday? Yeah. So look out for me on possibly tomorrow doing the IG Live. That might be a good idea. And if you guys are not following me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, I'm going to call it Twitter. I'm not calling it X. I'm calling it Twitter. Go to my website. Everything's right there, but I'm really easy to find. Y'all could just search me, Anthony Brian Logan. Y'all know my name, ABL. Really easy to find. Y'all come join me on those different social media platforms. On Twitter, I could talk about more things. I can get a little bit more in depth. I can kind of respond to people kind of quick. Instagram, I put a lot of my content from YouTube on the IG, but sometimes I go live. It's a little bit more kind of one-on-one, you know. But let's keep rocking and rolling here. Thank y'all again for joining. Could not do the show without you. Thank you for watching, retweeting, super chatting, whatever you're doing. Y'all know that you guys make the show happen. All right, I got super chats on deck. Then I'm going to go ahead and wrap it on up, put the bowl clean on top, and come back again live on Saturday. But I'm here pretty much every day putting out pre-recorded content. Let's keep on going here. Shout out to Matthew, who says, what did Israel ever do wrong? See USS Liberty. Papa Nyasheli says, strange how our attention isn't on how poor everyone has gotten since Biden came into office. Oh, never mind. The invasion of our cities. There we go. Thank you to the Gore 55 Miller for becoming a member. Shout out to Paratrooper 1, who says, good evening, sir. The 82nd Airborne Division is by your side as always. Much peace, love, and happiness, ABL. Thank you for that. Most certainly appreciate you. Thank you to J-Dub for becoming a member. And shout out to Kelly K, who says, I charge you 1 meal per day. I did with the family. They ordered a pizza and didn't let me have any. Well, was that after your 1 meal a day, or was that as part of your 1 meal a day? You got to be able to eat now. But if you do the 1 meal and no pizza, that's a good idea. You know, 1 meal a day. I stand on that. I had 1 meal today. What did I have? I had some Greek spaghetti with some shrimp. They like, I don't know what it is with the shrimp. Maybe there's some kind of inflation on the shrimp. So normally I would get chicken and shrimp with the Greek spaghetti, but I just got shrimp. I thought they would just give me more shrimp because there was like $1 upcharge. I'm like, okay, maybe I'll get more shrimp. They gave me like 5 shrimp. I was like, man, come on. Now it was big shrimp, but I need more than that. I need me about 10 shrimp, not the 5. Come on now. Come on, Greek spot. That's not really it. But it was good though. And I had a side Caesar salad and some bread. That was a nice meal for my 1 meal. And I'm good. All right. But that'll be a wrap for me. Thank y'all for being here yet again. I'll be back live again on Saturday night at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And here every day putting out pre-recorded videos. But until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace.